Hello, Fightful Faithful. Welcome to a very somber edition of Sour Graps on Tuesdays. Um, we've had a tragedy in the Sour Graps lexicon. Um, it's your NXT review for Tuesday, April 29th. Kate would normally be doing this, but she is in mourning, and so I am taking over her duties for the evening because everyone processes grief in different ways, and Kate processes it by wearing sunglasses and a sleep
I've
mask on
been
top of her
I've
head.
been
I don't know what that
freaking
is.
mourning, Alex.
Yeah, I
Okay?
get it. Yeah, no, I understand.
The metaphor broke up.
The metaphor broke up.
I'm not okay about it.
No, they apparently are very okay about it, but you, however, are not.
I'm not even a little bit okay about it.
No.
I
Uh-uh.
no. We'll talk about it because that's the way to move through things.
That's the only way to move through things is to
But
talk about
please,
it.
please, um, be kind as we go through this review
In
because
lieu of flowers, please
send super chats,
send super chats,
send
particularly
super chats and humper chats. Yeah.
puns. And Kate, although it's hard to think of anything else at this very somber time, but apparently the way to cure all all enmity between two individuals, if they have hated each other since they met each other, all of that can be turned into a budding friendship if you just go to Waffle House. So, breakfast puns. We have never done breakfast puns, so now we are doing breakfast puns. Any kind of breakfast food, things you do at breakfast, breakfast establishments, anything like that. Um, those would be all fine with me. But we're doing
Sure.
breakfast puns tonight.
I'm glad other people feel that they can laugh. You know what I
No,
mean?
I under,
That's
but
sweet.
we maybe if we can laugh about something else, it can take our minds off of this tragedy.
I can only hope. I can only hope that that's how it works because as excited as I was about Ashante the Adonis and Carmen breaking up, the breakup of the metaphor has
Mm,
absolutely wrecked me. Now I was going for a funeral look.
yeah.
I feel like I look like Doug Funny's sister Judy.
Uh huh.
Like
Yeah.
more when she had like her weird all her like weird
Oh,
theatrical
oh,
whatever.
Judy Funny.
Judy Funny, yeah.
Right. I mean, she has her own name. You don't have to like Doug Funny's sister. It's not like Maurice's wife's whatever. It's like it's her name is Judy Funny.
Okay, well, just in case people might have not
Okay, fine, fine,
understood the
fine, fine, fine,
reference.
fine.
I feel like the sunglasses, which are my sister's that she left here, are a little maybe too stylish,
A
and
little maybe
perhaps
too stylish. Yeah.
this equipment bag that's on my head didn't really
Is
drive
that what it
home the
was?
point.
Because I was wondering. It didn't quite look like a veil.
Yeah,
Um.
I was looking for my veil because here's the other thing. Like
mm,
this
yeah.
is I need to update my wardrobe because this
Right.
is from the first few I ever did on the show, which was like one of
Right.
the first episodes that
Yeah.
uh that I ever did. So I
Mm-hmm.
got to update the old wardrobe, but
Mm-hmm.
we did have this episode of NXT. I am in mourning, but a lot happened. Some good, some
Mm-hmm.
bad. So do get in your super chats. Do get in your humper chats at
Mm-hmm.
humperchats.com.
Yeah.
Do leave a thumbs up on this video as well. Um, Lots going on in Fightful Select that you're going to want to be subscribed for $5.99, the best $5.99 in the biz.
I was gonna say, if you're gonna do the sunglasses, you gotta at least give me one of these a few times.
Uh,
Give me a little
uh,
risky business on this. You know what
a
I mean?
little Fightful Select for you, a little
Thank you.
scoopskis behind the paywall.
Thank you. I appreciate
Uh,
it. Good.
Lots happening there. You're gonna want to get in the Discord. You're gonna want to get there for Sean's
Mm-hmm.
Q&A.
Mm-hmm.
you can bug him all the time. It's so much fun in the Fightful Select Discord. He has an Ask SRS channel because he's a masochist, so you can hang out there. Tons of scoops going on too. A cool one about the Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins angle, the Seth Riders, as our friend Bad Robot has called them. That Braun Breaker turn was not like planned. It didn't sound like so. Some fun details over there. Some news on Tekla, who's a fantastic, one of those people that you just see and you're like, that's a megastar. Coming through the women's Japanese wrestling scene and the Joshi scene there. And her free agency available, all sorts of fun stuff on FightfulSelect.com. So head on over there, subscribe. Best $5.99 in the biz. Patreon's giving us a little bit of the runaround on some errors there, but stick with it. If you run into any issues, let Sean know. But FightfulSelect.com has all you could possibly need. And subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't. 161,000 subscriptions. We are climbing up.
Climbing up.
What?
I just liked your pantomime. I thought it was really great.
This is the problem. I'm Judy Funny now. I feel like I have to be dramatic.
I thought maybe you were trying to, like, you're being a cat. You're trying to claw at me.
I mean, Sean has 5 of them. If I'm pushing Fightful Select.
Right. I mean, this is the thing is that I thought maybe you were trying to claw at me because you were mad at me.
I am mad at you, Alex.
About last night. I know I manifested that, and also about this.
Yeah. I'm mad.
I did this.
You did all of this. You made all the bad things come true.
I paid HBK a compliment. And he says, "Oh no, we can't have that. We gotta go back to the way it used to be, making Alex insane." And so we started out with Joe Blandry, because he's the blandest man in existence.
No, I'm on the other side of the fence with you on that. They refused to make him look good on the show, which is a weird choice.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't watch the other show. Why would you try and make him like less interesting than he is on the other program when he comes here? Because this promo was dreck. Like I've seen him cut better promos.
Sure.
In other places, I've seen him cut better promos at WCPW. You know what I mean? Like, I know he's got promos in him that is better than this. This was terrible. This was boring. The cadence was just da 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 Trick Williams da 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 da. And it was just it was that I figured there'd be, like, when he was like, Trick Williams, get your ass out here. I go, okay, finally you actually seem to be angry about what happened at Rebellion. But like this just I'm just going by what people have told me about how this is the sensation in wrestling is Joe Hendry. And every time he's on this show, he's just blah. Like, there's nothing. He's fine, but where's the snap? Where's all the stuff that gets people excited? Because I don't see it. I want to see it. I will be thrilled if they show it to me. They have yet to show me an ounce of all the charisma people say that he has.
So well, first of all, I don't think he's a sensation in the way that you would be like excited about a wrestler that's a sensation.
Okay.
Like that's not your vibe, is the way that Joe Hendry is a sensation. But like when people had criticisms about the WrestleMania spot with Orton, I could see both sides of what they were saying, of like, hey, you buried your TNA champion. Mm-hmm. I was of the belief that there was a story there. It was just a 3-minute and 10-second story, and I was a little more fine with it. And I understood people saying this guy went out with the title on and he kind of looked like an idiot. I understood where people were coming from with that. I also understood the people that said, it's a pretty badass thing that you get to face Randy Orton at WrestleMania, and you don't lose a lot by losing to one of the most like legendary wrestlers in the biz in 3 minutes and 10 seconds to an RKO because he was like doing his shtick and got distracted by the lights of WrestleMania. Like I see both sides of the coin. What I don't understand is every time that he's been in NXT, he has been made to look like a chump, kind of.
Yeah.
And I don't know. This promo didn't hit for me either. It wasn't particularly bad. I'm just wondering if maybe he's extremely scripted because it's
that's what it feels like. It feels like these are the words you will say. You will say them in this fashion, and you will pause here, and you will pause here, and you will pause here. And none of it feels organic whatsoever. This is a guy who writes his own songs for like make fun of people. And it feels like, no, we are taking that pencil out of your hand. We will be writing everything that you say. You will say exactly what we tell you to. And I'm like, is this a test? Are you testing if he's going to be a good boy if you sign him? You know what I mean? Like,
well, I would think it's more, from my understanding, which is not a lot. Partnerships have very strict guidelines around them of what you can say, what you can't say, what you can do, what you can't do, especially when you're the champion of the other company coming to this. But it's also like they just never I don't think they've ever given me a program on the NXT side that I'm like, that's a great call. Like, it was very weird when he showed up and didn't acknowledge Ethan Page, but they had a match at Rebellion. Like that was like very weird. And I don't know if like he got chopped down by DarkState. The fact that we haven't gotten a song from him is weird.
Well, we got the one from about Ethan, but it was about Ethan put on some clothes where he was showing footage of him in a different time in his career. Like, it wasn't like Ethan was doing a gimmick where he was walking around like half naked on NXT. And that was a thing he was making fun of. This was not
like everybody in wrestling is half naked, like all the time. So like I felt like the obvious thing, because you don't want to bury any NXT talent, is that he does like a sexy boy parody on Shawn Michaels for the situations that he's getting him involved in. Right. And I will double down, Alex, on the fact that he can't show up because he's invited. Say his name and he appears. There is an order to things.
This time, at least, Vic Joseph did say his name.
He did, but like all of the stuff was like, oh, Shawn Michaels invited him to settle the score with Trick Williams. Trick Williams should say Trick Williams, actually, as a heel, should say everything but his name. He should say Joe Hendrickson. He should say Joe Henry. Like, he should be working around saying his name, and then he should get mixed up and say Joe Hendry and be like, oh no, what did I do? And then there comes Joe Hendry.
Well, also, like, but the problem is, like, you've given him the gimmick of a white rabbit at a kid's birthday party with a magician at it. Oh, you said his name, here he is. Like, it's not even if you say his name 3 times and he appears, then he'd be Beetlejuice, and that'd at least be cool. Beetlejuice is awesome. Or it could be Biggie Smalls.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Because that's better. That's better than this.
I was never into Beetlejuice very much, but my sister's name is Lydia, so it's kind of like
I understand. Like,
that was already owned.
I know. Yeah, but no, but like Beetlejuice is great. Legitimately one of the best movies ever made. And so if your gimmick is Beetlejuice, I'm fine with it. Although, like, there's no way this guy has a tenth of the charisma of the ghost with the most. Let me tell you. So it's fine. Like, here's the deal. This is part and parcel of the problem I have with the current direction of NXT. Can things just be on NXT, please? This is probably part of the problem that you had with Ring of Honor and why you probably no longer do that review anymore. Can things just be NXT? Or can the people who are on NXT, if they're going to do excursions, just do that one thing and not be on NXT? Because Trick Williams saying, I want Oba's title, and also attacking Joe Hendry, the champion of TNA, means that Trick Williams is going to be pulled in 2 different directions. And I kind of just want him to be focused on whatever thing he's focused on. Don't get me started on the women's division. We're going to get to it later. But like, can things should be localized to NXT, and then the people who want to go elsewhere to do something, they do that thing and only that thing, and then when they're done, they come back. I don't want to see this thing pulled in different directions.
I agree with you on the main roster side, because that is A, in their control, and B, muddying the most important programs on the show. That's awful.
Yes.
But the point of a talent exchange, I think, is the opposite of what you just said. I think the idea is you promote it on one show to try and get people to tune into the other shows. So, like, I prefer what you're saying, but there's just no way that they would do that, because that defeats the purpose of the talent.
They can do Trick and Joe on both shows.
That I agree with.
Trick and Joe on both shows, but also on one show, Trick and Oba. No,
that I agree with.
Oba should have his own fucking story, completely separated from everything else on the show. Like, that is his thing. And then if Trick and Joe want to play footsie on both shows, I don't care. But Oba's got his own thing, and it shouldn't be involved in all the other stuff as well. That is the sanctity of the world title on your show is very important to me. That is a thing that should be its own thing and not like have all this other crap surrounding it. So
I agree. I think it's so I feel like talent exchanges in general never really work out. And this is why. For them to work out, you kind of have to have it be world title centric, because you want the most important people showing up on the other show. It would be kind of boring if they were like, man, this mid-carder with nothing to do coming over to like, that's not enticing. But what that does is pull your title picture in a couple different directions. I have actually less of a problem with that, because at least they're trying to be productive with it than what the hell they're doing in the women's division. That I get what you're saying, and it's kind of frustrating. I would be my own thing though is I don't really watch TNA. If they were doing these programs across programs that I watched, I probably would be like,
okay, fine,
more into it. But the main roster stuff with the women's division, like that, I don't think is Shawn Michaels' fault. That feels like it's Triple H's fault, and that is messing up the trajectories of the 4 most important women in NXT right now, probably. So
I also don't pay attention to the numbers. So how's TNA doing with this whole talent exchange thing? Are they getting a bump?
I know the live attendances. I don't know about ratings, and I don't know if they're on a platform that calculates ratings.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. Like so
but they did with AEW, so I'm sure it's available out there in some form. But I know the live house has got a bump for sure.
So that's good. Jambeard saying every time Alex says Joe Hendry is bland, he should be forced to rewatch Miz title runs, starting with his WWE title reign. No, but two things can both be bland. I'm not arguing you that Miz was like, no, Miz was great. Joe Hendry sucks. No, they're both bland. They can both be two things can be bland.
They're just like, if you're like, your guy is Oba Femi. I can't think of anybody that's on the opposite end of the spectrum of Oba Femi than Joe Hendry.
I mean,
he's over. I'm not looking to diminish his in-ring, because I think he's a very serviceable wrestler. He's not knock your socks off with his in-ring, but he's just fine.
Yeah.
But he is partly over for the sake of being over, which is like your least favorite thing in the world. But at the same time, when I see people going to WrestleCon dressed as 7 different Joe Hendrys coming up to him and singing his song, like, you gotta capitalize on that, right? So
I guess.
The thing I appreciate about him is he uses every inch of real estate that the framework of wrestling and sports entertainment gives you to get himself over. Titantrons, promo time, like production, all of it. And that, whether I love what they're doing or not, I have all the respect in the world for saying, these are all my resources and I'm using them all to get myself mega over. And he did. So
right.
But he's like the least for you guy that I've in wrestling.
Well, for sure. I bet he could be. I mean, I quite loved the song that he wrote for Drew McIntyre back on the Indies. I thought that was great. Like,
Sure.
he could be for me. I mean, like you're talking to a dude who cut his teeth on Weird Al. I love me some song parodies. Okay, so if this guy's producing good ones, I'm probably going to be super into him. But the ones that I've heard him do for NXT in particular have been bad. You know what I mean? Like, I want him to be good.
It's almost like this is a very far departure initially. So go on the ride with me of what I'm about to say.
All right, fine.
There are some guys that are more suited for not having the title. Bray Wyatt was one of those guys. He was not someone that needed a belt. There are some acts that just don't feel like champion acts, and they have so much place in wrestling.
Right.
But like world champion Joe Hendry, I think probably works really well in TNA. I don't know if it like translates to going into an environment where Obafemi is the other champ. You know what I mean? Like it does feel kind of lopsided. The AJ Francis song, that Creed parody, I thought was so funny. And one of my favorite parts about it was they had AJ Francis looking on, and there was just, he was trying so hard not to smirk behind it. And he was like trying to talk his crap too from the balcony. And I love when wrestlers are popped by what other wrestlers are doing. It's just fun. But he can also really sing, I'll tell you what.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. He said what you did after my match at Rebellion crossed the line, and that is the cadence with which he did it, and the emphaticness with which he said it, and it just felt like the way, like that feels like Michael Cole wrote it. You know, like, what you did crossed the, how dare you, sir? It just felt very, so
LGBT
it's professional wrestling. That a dude who doesn't like you attacked you after a match. Like, it crossed the line. Literally everybody has crossed the line 100 times, if that indeed crossed the line. But he says, you get your ass out here right now. And then DarkState showed up, which does not beat the allegations exactly of Trick Williams somehow still being involved in DarkState. But they rushed the ring and they beat the hell out of him. And then they cut a little promo in the parking lot, which was funny. I made you disappear instead of you appeared, blah, blah. But my favorite part of the whole thing was when they tweeted it out. The caption was, squashed your boy faster than Randy Orton. And I was like, that's a fun joke. That's a fun joke. As long as he keeps mentioning wrestling Randy Orton at WrestleMania, everybody who comes up against him said, yeah, but you lost in 3 minutes. Every single person, until he stops mentioning it, you have to come back at him with, yeah, but you lost in 3 minutes.
Yeah, 100%.
Everybody does it. So I'm loving that Saquon Sugars is doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he got attacked by DarkState. So what the next thing that they're gonna do next week, but like, I don't like that they're involving the TNA title in NXT if this is how they're doing it, considering the person they're involving from NXT in the TNA title picture has his own title picture to worry about in NXT. So yes. Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley, they were at Rebellion. They didn't get pinned in the Knockouts multi-team match. So they were like, we should have another shot. But Carmen's there. This very much reminds me of the theater goth girls in high school and college who were sitting in places where they shouldn't be sitting, like on top of high counters. There's chairs everywhere. Let me find the weirdest place in the room.
Screw senior lounge, man. I'm sitting over here.
Yeah, like it's basically like there's couches and chairs everywhere, but I'm gonna sit in the weirdest place. I once walked in to the green room at theater and saw a girl sitting cross-legged on top of the vending machine. There were couches everywhere and they were empty. She was the only person in the room. You are performing for an audience of nobody. Why are you sitting? Because you wanted to be edgy, and she wanted the person who walked into the room next to take notice of her, and she won. So anyway, it's very authentic to me that is who Gigi and Tatum are.
Some of us just see the world differently, Alex. Did you ever consider that?
It's true. Yep.
Maybe everything's a chair.
Yeah. It's only not a chair to you because you play by the man's rules. You dig? Oh, no, that's beatniks. That's beatniks. I'm sorry. I got those mixed up with the goth kids.
Get it right or pay the price, Alex.
So, listen.
No, I don't listen.
I know you don't listen. Carmen being friends with them is a weird. I think it's fine. Ashanti is like, hey, I got you a shot against Sol Ruca, and don't talk to these losers. She's like, don't do that. Don't call them losers. Sorry, ladies. I got you a shot against Sol Ruca, and she goes, when? Tonight. Like, especially in WWE, everything happens tonight. You're lucky it's tonight, and that match is not starting right now. Like, they do that all the time, so you shouldn't be surprised that the match that he got you was tonight. Like, that's how it works. So she's very upset by him doing that, and he says that when you win this match, then you get actually a title shot. We get a title shot, and then they leave, and Gigi's like, "We get a title shot? Oh my god!" And yeah, I will just skip ahead to that. Sol Ruca versus Carmen Petrovic. Sol Ruca wins with the Soul Snatcher. It's good.
Yes, she does.
Carmen's come a long way. Good for her.
She really has.
And yeah, you know. And then we do the thing afterwards, which I'm happy that it's over. That our long national nightmare of the Carmen Petrovic and Ashanti the Adonis story is over. However, I don't know. Do we have to do the violence thing for it? Like, she has to kick him in the face. She got to say it's over and then walk away. She got to kick him in the face, because if the shoe's on the other foot, we'd never stand for it. If the guy breaks up with a girl by hitting her with a big clothesline and then like standing over her, we'd never stand for it. And I don't know if any guys out there have ever dated a girl who, when she's mad at you, likes to hit you in the head, but it sucks. Especially if you're a guy who's been told from birth by his father, you never raise a hand to a woman.
Sure.
So you just got to sit there and take it. So I'm just saying, abusive relationships go both ways. And all of the thing I saw about it was, yeah, good for you, girl. Kick him again. You know what I mean? We would never be, yeah, if it was the other way, ever. And I just feel like that we just don't do that as a way to resolve fake relationship storylines in wrestling, period. And then if we don't do it, then we can move on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's so tricky, because I agree with you entirely, but it's just, when you put things in the context of pro wrestling, I feel like the natural human reaction is that you're not thinking in those terms. You're just thinking in like, that guy was a dick to her, so she's going to be a wrestler about it. But you're right. Like, I think that's the problem.
If you want to break the rules that you've set up, where you can't have an intergender match, and Carmen Petrovic and Ashanti the Adonis settle it in the ring, that I'm fine with. But this is extracurricular stuff that I feel like we wouldn't tolerate the other way around. So
nobody will know if I'm telling the truth all episode.
This is a chat just for Kate. Kate looking like she just walked off the set of that thing you do with those glasses.
Shades, baby.
Yeah.
I love that movie so much. But you're right. I think if you stop to think about it, if you took this out of the context of this show, most people would say that's an inappropriate way to go about breaking up with someone, and it's not okay, right? In the context of pro wrestling, that like natural reaction to see a heel get their ass kicked is so just like innate to what's going on around you that I don't think you think in those terms. So it's tough because I get why people were reacting like that, but when you do slow down to think about it, you're like, that's actually not cool.
I think there's a way, if you tell the story and you take all the steps to get to this point, that it can be seen as not this by me, the most sensitive man in wrestling media. But like, you absolutely,
I like being your co-host.
I understand, but that is the thing that I get from you. You're too sensitive about everything. Well, it's fine. I know that about myself, but here's a way to easily do it, and I think make a better story out of it. All he was doing was like being slightly controlling. You know what I mean? Like, he wanted to talk to her about the loss and about what their next steps are. She turned away from him, and grabbed her arm and pulled her back to him. Okay, fine. But if we had seen him be increasingly more emotionally and verbally abusive to her over several weeks, and then at this point, we see him raise his hand to her and go to slap her, and she catches it because she's a friggin' karate black belt, and she tosses it away and kicks him in the face, I'd have no problem with it.
Sure.
Because he would have escalated it. He escalates it to a physical place and she shuts it down, no problem. But he was being a dick to her. But not physically, not really. He wasn't being, we've never seen him try to hit her. We've never really seen him yell at her. Like, the most actually we've ever seen anybody take abuse is from her to him by her yelling at him backstage. Like, obviously they were never meant to be together. It was a terrible storyline. Let's never do it again. But the way to get out of it, I don't think, is this. You know what I mean? That's my thing.
It's not. I'm so glad it's over. There was no payoff to it. And the other thing is, like, I did watch Bloodsport, and this is not the character for her. If you watch Bloodsport for 2 seconds and saw her in her match, you know, like, where she should be heading, and this isn't it. And in a very different way, like, this happens with Mariah May a little bit in a very different way, but let me explain. Okay. Like, she has kind of, Mariah May especially has like a diva look, but she hits like a truck because she's a Joshi. Right. She came through the Joshi scene, but there's this really cool tension with that, of that she's the glamour and she hits really hard. Mm-hmm. And with Carmen, I think sometimes her look, they don't like play into this with her presentation, but like in backstages and stuff, she's just like this beautiful blonde lady. And I think, I wish they would lean into that contrast more. And I hope that's where they decide to go with her, because man, she looked like a real badass at Bloodsport. A few people did, Eddie Hart. So I would really like to see them kind of, because there is something very easy and magnetic about her as well. Not in the same way that Sol Ruka is like so chill or whatever, but like, she doesn't give you like all this martial arts background, like aggressive, whatever. She has like this very inviting thing about her. So like, mess with us with that a little bit. Like, that's where I want to see that go. So thank God this is over. I feel bad that like nobody got a payoff. This was just something that didn't work from the jump, and not in the way that like you and I will criticize something. Like, this is just not. This has been unproductive for everybody involved basically the whole time. That happens with wrestling angles sometimes. Things just don't work out sometimes. But let's move on. Let's get Ashanti in something that's more fitting for him, and let's get Carmen a presentation that matches what she is capable of, because I think she has a high ceiling and she's really starting to come along.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. So mercifully, this match ended without incident, and we just got to watch Ricky Saints beat Lexis King, and no, it was nothing. No, oh no, what happened? And like, it's just Ricky Saints beat him.
Yeah.
And now I don't like Lexis King. Does what now? Like, he's not the Heritage Cup champ anymore. Not that I really care. Honestly, he doesn't have to be on TV anymore. But like, like it's a weird thing that you built him to a point where you told us he was one of the top 4 guys who should get a shot at the North American title. He was talking like he deserved a shot at Oba's title. Like, but he's, you know, like, okay, we're now we just back to the drawing board with him. That's fine, honestly. But it is weird how things, like, it feels like, okay, here we go. Here's your push, and now you're on your
it's
own.
gone.
Bye, bye, everybody. Yeah, it's Ricky Saints wins, and we just move past this. There was, honestly, looking back on it now, considering this was what came out of it, there was no need to have Lexis King interrupt Ricky Saints last week at all, because he lost the title to the cup to Noam Dar, and then after that loss last week, he gets a shot this week at a different title and loses that. Like, you could have had literally anybody else. Have Wes Lee interrupt Ricky Saints last week and build to a Wes Lee versus Ricky Saints program, as opposed to this weird one-off thing with Lexis King that doesn't really get us anywhere. Lexis King losing to Noam Dar and rock bottoming out because he has no idea what to do without his Heritage Cup, and like, no, I need it back, and like, he could have a shot back at it with Noam Dar, but he's got to do it by Noam Dar's rules, and he can't fight that way anymore. And now what do I do? And then we, like, honestly, he'd be the one guy I wouldn't mind watching, see him doing a sad Corbin gimmick. What does that beard look like when it grows out? Like,
I was gonna say,
in crazy different ways. You know what I mean? When you don't actually go to a barber.
I loved last week Noam Dar trying to wipe it off.
That was very funny.
I mean, these were back-to-back losses of a title and a title shot, so there are certainly storyline places they could take that. Like, he has to, I don't want to see a babyface turn out of it, but he might have to, like, look within himself and evaluate things. I was also thinking about this while I was watching it. I think Lexis King tag wrestler with a big dumb brute might be the way to go for this guy.
That brute's got to be pretty dumb to follow.
He's got to be really big and really dumb.
Like, I
don't know if he exists in NXT.
The bigness is negotiable. The dumbness has got to be like absolute single digit IQ to follow that guy around. So, who is it?
But like, he had the Heritage Cup, right? He's presented, whether he gets a lot of screen time, which is their way of telling us that they have invested in him.
Yeah, that makes it. Yeah, there you go.
Like, if he went on a run, like, I lost the Heritage Cup, I lost my title shot to Ricky Saints, I need muscle. Like, I think that could work. I think that could work because I think he's the kind of comedy heel that could, like, speak on someone's behalf if that person is just so bought into his bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, no, this guy is speaking.
Honestly, it's really too bad they don't have Parker Boudreaux on the roster anymore. That guy'd be perfect for it.
He's in AAA. He can come over for it.
No, there you go. There's your first talent switcheroo. Get old Parker Boudreaux back. He'd be perfect for it. That guy's definitely dumb enough to listen to Lexis King, right? I mean, in kayfabe. Also,
well, hold on. Von Wagner. Oh, Von Wagner, we just found the perfect role for you, buddy. Oh, no.
Oh, darn.
But I think that could work. Not the culling cult leader thing, but like, if somebody was just bedazzled by all the flash that he brings, I think that could work for him. Also as like a heel hot tag situation. I think that could be like a good pairing for him, but I think they could go somewhere with it. It's just a matter of, are they going to pay off the fact that he immediately, like, lost a title shot back to back. He should have a moment of like, whoa, something's got to change around here. What that looks like, TBD.
Yes.
Or Tibuda, as the kids say.
Tibuda, as the kids do say that.
Should we do some super chats and humper chats?
Sure. Sorry, we didn't have the document So I didn't. I'm looking. I'm trying to figure out. Oh, they should. There we go. Jambier says they should get an underground intergender match. That might be a bit over the line, but I'd be fine with it. But I feel like they can't jump from you're not allowed to touch to let's take away the ring ropes and beat the hell out of each other until the ref says stop.
There you go.
Yeah, that
There you
might
go.
be difficult. Yeah.
We did have some humper chats. One from my dad.
Okay,
Paul
there you
Elizabeth.
go.
Who says our thoughts and prayers are with Team KLEX during this trying time. See, he's just looking out for his daughter, which I appreciate. And Orion Ben, who said, evening, morning, afternoon, SGS, very blah show tonight. Production planning didn't have a very good night, but I guess after a warm streak they were on, we should have known a dud was close by. RIP the metaphor, RIP the family, but welcome back, Alex University. That's just just cruel.
That's cruel. That's very cruel.
That's cruel. But the rest we can save for later.
Yeah. And most of these are just breakfast puns. So I will read I'll read some of them. Tom Valley says Techno Toast 2000.
Very nice. Thank you so much. Chad Fortune dines out on my mentions. I just know it.
Jambeard says, whose house? Waffle's house.
Very nice.
Mr. J also said, whose house? Waffle House.
I like
Chris says, Frittata von Erich. Not Fritz von Erich, but Frittata von Erich. Jambeard says, Chelsea green eggs and ham.
Very nice.
International House of Torture.
Tell me about it.
Bam Bam Bagelo. I like that one. International House of Black Pancakes.
That's very good.
Let's see here. Okay. Lieutenant Photo says Blueberry Muffin Baller.
Muffin Baller.
Whisperer says cream of Wheatley, so good I drink it Yeatly. Okay. Lieutenant Photo says fruit and yogurt parfait J Styles.
That's really good.
The
house that yogurt parfait J Styles built.
Knocked Out Films. This one's better to read it than to say it. Oh, where'd it go? No, it's gone. Oh no. What? How did? Oh no. Oh well. It said. Oh, is it gone now? It's probably entirely gone now. But it said breakfast sausage J Styles. Like but it looks better if you anyway. But breakfast sausage J Styles. Lash Browns.
Lash Browns is really good too.
And, Croquet Mansour. Bagels and John Loxley from Lieutenant Photo.
Very good.
Lieutenant Photo said Brian Cage free eggs. Lieutenant Photo said the Denny's Grande Americano Slam. Oh no, that's okay.
Here's the one. It does look better. Oh, I was gonna.
Okay, yeah. Where did you found it? Okay, good. Put it back up.
I did.
Yeah.
Sauce AJ Styles looks.
AJ Styles. It looks very good. It looks better. Rafael Garcia says Ren Eclair. Michael McGriddlecuddy. That's really, really good. Trix Williams, Denny's Luna, and in the same vein, Ember Moons over Miami. That's very, very good.
Gosh.
Ember Moons over Miami is a top 10 pun for any subject we've ever gotten. That's amazing. And I don't just say it because I'm a huge Ember Moon fan.
I was just going to say, Alex, we figured out how Ember Moon fits into this.
Oh, that is fantastic. I love that one. And Alpha Bill says Grayson Waffler.
That's very good. First pun ever?
No.
Or of the night. No, I was going to say Alpha Bill. We've seen him in
lots
the pun.
of those.
We've seen him in the pun game before.
Okay. The culling had a little vignette, a little
vignette.
Thank you. With Progressive in the corner. And just stop doing these vignettes with the Progressive logo in the corner. It's so weird to see them all being super serial around this. That's a breakfast pun. Around this table and being all like, no, you have failed in your mission. So anyway, get progressive for bundle your house and auto insurance. Anyway, what are you going to be doing, Izzy Dame? What you know that, dude? Izzy Dame, are you aware that Progressive has motorcycle insurance? Like, it just feels so weird to do this particular group with Progressive in the corner. But anyway, they're
Izzy
going to
Dame versus Flo when? That's what I want to know. I need to know. When is that happening? I want Flo in an NXT Underground match with Izzy Dame. Give it to us. And our little pipsqueak friend, what's his name? Jamie? Get Jamie in here too.
Man, you are up on the Progressive lore.
I am. I clocked it all.
The ones I like the most are the ones that it's actually it's sad because I see myself in them, but it's the you're turning into your parents. Those ones by Progressive. Every time I'm like, oh damn, that's me. Oh no, what have I become?
Those ones also feature frequently a friend of my sister, so I'm like always rooting for them. And then I'm like, she's also speaking truths, like pretty frequently over there. So
oh no, I'm becoming those people. Anyway,
Progressive is a better stable than the Calling.
Well, I mean,
I need to see it.
Yeah.
War Games match. Survivor Series.
That's good. Yeah. So yeah, we gotta get back to our winning ways or something. I don't know. She says, Izzy, find somebody who's in the spotlight and steal it from them. So I don't know who Izzy is coming after. But somebody who's in the spotlight, she says. They say so.
Who is in the spot? I mean, I don't know. It's hard to figure out the women's division right now.
Yeah, because what spotlight? The one on Raw or the one on NXT? So anyway,
the one in TNA.
Yeah, could be. I don't know. So Tony D'Angelo comes out, and he gets a promo. It's a little promo about Stacks and how I always stuck up for him. I never thought I always knew he didn't want to be stuck where he was, but I didn't think he was going to stab me in the back. And so he brought out all his gang of mooks. It's just none of them look right. Kate, like you have a performance center full of big, broad-shouldered white dudes. Put them in suits and give them sunglasses and let them stand there. Why do all these guys look like they're 50 and either haven't done a sit-up in 20 years, or one of those dudes looked like Rick Ocasek from the Cars. Like he was all gaunt and he did. I'm sorry to do a really old guy reference, but he did. One of those guys back there looked gaunt and haggard and I don't know, man. It's true, he did. I don't know why all your dudes. Why do your mooks look so unmooky? Get some mookier mooks.
Underrated band, truly, the Cars.
Oh, one of the very best of the late 70s and 80s. Ooh,
fantastic.
Boy, one of the very best.
I
guess you're just what I needed. Great song. Great song.
That whole album. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of love the way this is being rolled out though. Like these little just cliffhanger after cliffhanger things. Sure. Like I am straight up Mufasa hanging off the cliff with how much of this cliffhanger situation it is. So I'm loving that. You're right in that this angle has been too much of a staple on NXT for it to have had this few
yeah, no, we are your number one podcast for timely and current references. Thank you, Pieces.
The best part about that is the hypocrite that Alex is with it, because if they use dated references on that show, he's like, come on, why are we making references from 20 years ago, you old men? And then here we're talking about the Cars, but at least the Cars, they're great.
Yeah.
But they've been on the show too long to not have a consistent group of like it's the mob, and we've talked about this. The mob needs to have more than 3 people in it.
Yeah.
So that's something that they should rectify with the storyline, probably depending on what way it's going. Like
Mhm.
if Tony sleeps with the fishes,
Well, this is the thing. So
there's no point to, but
right.
we'll see.
We get, Stacks doesn't come out. He's supposed to come out and they're supposed to have a face-to-face, but he doesn't come out. Instead, a bunch of security guys come out and stand there. And then Stacks is up on the Titantron at the spot where they threw 2 dimes in the river. It is a major place of the Tony D'Angelo family lore.
It really
They had that amazing scene with Ilya Dragunov on the bridge.
They did have that amazing scene with Ilya Dragunov on the bridge.
I miss those days, Kate. That was one of the best feuds. It was so great. Like the mob boss and the Russian who can't be killed. Like come on, that's so great. Well, I loved it. I got to go back and watch some of those vignettes. Were so great. The one in the restaurant.
Oh my god, so good.
So good. Okay, anyway.
I really like, how I have heat with the word vignette because
yes.
it's nonsense the way it's spelled versus pronounced. Don't tell it's French. I know it's French. It has nothing on politicking looking like the word pot liquor. It has it's not even close.
No. Yeah.
It's so like I don't even care about vignette being pronounced so differently than it's spelled because now I'm on a whole other thing.
Yeah.
But yes, he's at the bridge.
And he says Luca's gone. What do you mean Luca's gone? Luca's gone? Like gone, like over the side of the bridge? And he says, and Ange, where's Ange? Is Ange like are you gonna throw Ange over the bridge? Like Ange is in hiding? Okay, so you haven't found Ange, thank God. But next week, is it next week? They're actually going to do an actual fight or whatever. Is it next week or whenever it's going to be? Is it going to be battle? Wherever it is. I've convinced myself that they're going to be in the middle of the fight between Stacks and Tony D, and Luca and Ange are going to show up, and Tony D is going to think that they're there to help him, but they're going to turn and join Stacks. And this is the thing that happens. This is honestly, I know they're going to do. Tony's going to be doing a fantastic job of cutting promos to build up to it. If this is the way it happens, it's happened to the head of every family from Sicily on down. Eventually, you got to go out. If this is my time, I've made peace with it. But you're going to have to kill me to take me out of the chair. Like something fantastic, but like him recognizing that the head of every mob family gets got, and a lot of times it's by his own people. Like him being okay with it, kind of, and recognizing it, so that when Luca shows up and sides with Stacks, he's gonna be like, "You broke my heart, but I can't say I didn't see it coming." You know what I mean? Something really cool. And again, this is just me now working myself into a shoot. This gimmick was never going to work in the main roster. They turn it into something super corny and terrible. They never give it the leeway for him to turn it into, because it took him years to get to this point where we take him seriously somehow as the head of a mob family in wrestling. And he's done it, but it took him a long time to get there. They're never going to give him the time to breathe and to actually do it on the main roster. That new audience isn't going to go for it. So they have to completely repackage him once he goes up. I think he's a fantastic extra dude to add to the Seth Rollins thing. Call him something else, give him a name change or whatever, completely repackage the way he looks, and have him just go in there and toss dudes around and hit suplexes on people. It could be really, really, really good, honestly.
For now, because of the bit, this is for Luca Crucifino.
Yeah.
And also for Chelsea Green, because that's her damn lawyer.
I know.
She's in the middle of a lawsuit.
Yeah.
So she's without representation now. I guess maybe Smart Mark Sterling can open the forbidden door. I love all of this. Like, this has been so good. And you're right, like, he had one of the biggest mountains to climb as far as being a character in a pro wrestling context. And the Legato feud and the stuff with Gallus and all of this. Like, he's real good, man. He's real good. And I because it's been very good this entire time, I don't want it to not go to the main roster, but I don't think it is. Like, I think you're accurate in your assessment there. I would say part of what excites me about him as an idea for the Pin Eater in the Breaker Seth Rollins faction is just like, I think I said this last week too, but stylistically, like, that guy would make being a Pin Eater look really good just because of like the way that he wrestles is always a brawl. And I feel like Pin Eaters should to be viable, that someone would want him around. That's a good way to go. Like a guy that's doing fisherman suplexes and stuff like that. Like he's got going. He could toss people around, but he's not going to be hurt by being a Pin Eater in a faction with Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. In fact, it could lead really good places for him in the future. So I love that idea. I don't know if they'll do it. That would be ballsy. I hope they would. That would be really fun. That would be a cool way to introduce someone. It would be somebody getting called up with a plan.
Yeah.
So that would be good because we've seen the other stuff. But man, it's wild how much Triple H was on the receiving end of that particular pain point and has just done the exact same thing, seemingly. Like, we don't know what's going on, but like, man, I'm so glad you called up Grayson Waller to this. Like, I'm so glad that you called up Carmelo Hayes to this.
Well, let's not compare the two. Carmelo Hayes it should be a future WrestleMania main eventer. Grayson Waller is better than this, but he's not what he doesn't have the ceiling Carmelo Hayes does.
But remember the matches that they were giving him when he came up?
Right.
I agree with you 100% on that. But like, they were having him with like Orton and Edge was still there, and like, and then they were like, how about this with Austin Theory? And it worked for a minute, and then they've just dragged out. So my point being, like, you should have creative tracks in place for people when they get called up so that they don't just do this.
Right.
But anyway, if they chose to do that with Tony D'Angelo, that would be super, super fun.
Yeah.
And also, it's ridiculous you didn't have a spot for Duke Hudson. So.
Yes, true. Stax says, who can you really trust? And at that point, I thought all the mooks behind Tony were going to step into the ring and start beating him up with crowbars. But he turns around and they go, like, it was just like, they look at us. I don't know. And then the security guys stormed the ring and Tony D easily handled them. And then he was like, yo, you got to prove yourself to me. You got to, come on, give me face to face. Like a man. If you want to be done. Like, so I'm honestly really intrigued to see if this is the end of Tony D in NXT. I feel like he's gonna fight for it to be like the end of a mob movie, like in a really dramatic way. I think it'd be really fun. I almost want him to go out in a cinematic match because of how dramatic they'd have like his end. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be this one thing where like they'd have him like Tony like Stax would hit him in the back with a crowbar, and in slow motion he'd throw his arms up and fall to his knees, and then one to the back of the head, and he goes, and then like the ring falls off of his finger, and Stax picks it up and puts it on or something. Like, they do it, they make it fun. Like,
I think it could be fun. I don't know if they'll do it, but that could be really fun. The handoff to Stax is the part that kind of worries me a little bit. And that's not because he hasn't been really good in this. It's just like a very...
Yeah, no, it's a drop-off. It's a drop-off.
Yeah, and like, just the idea of the second mob boss in general is like not an easy angle to navigate. So, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Ace, what gimmick ideally should Tony D be on the main roster? Like I think he is probably like the best role for him in this company. I think is as fantastic hot tag guy who
Sure.
when that tag team cuts promos, he's the dude doing all the talking. I've said it the way that honestly that I think he could be on the main roster. Especially if please take him seriously. If they're not going to take him seriously and make him a comedy act, then whatever. I'm sure he'll nail it. But if you take him seriously, he's Jason Jordynne from American Alpha from back in the day, but with a New York accent. You know what I mean? Like he's way more athletic than anybody thinks he is. An incredible suplex machine. Like he'd be a fantastic hot tag guy.
Alex, that's so embarrassing. That's Taz. Idiot. Suplex machine. I, I feel like character-wise, not Mob Boss, but guy from Brooklyn who walked into a gym and ratty gray sweatpants and a wife beater, who just found his way there. Like is a really
the problem is this company just doesn't let you just be a good wrestler. You got to be something else on top of it, and so I don't think he's destined for the main event scene or even like a mid-card singles run, like a real one, like with a title around his waist. I think he's done everything he possibly can in NXT because NXT is the one place where you could do a gimmick like this, and through careful curation of all of the stuff, I feel like he has, because his stuff is so different and so much better.
So different than everybody else's.
So much, I think so different for sure. And I would argue so much better. The quality of all of the stuff that they do in their like location shoots is so much more high quality than anybody else. The character consistency is absolutely impeccable. I have to believe he has a major input in how that all goes down because he is the constant around all of it. Everybody who feuds with him, when they are feuding with Tony D, their stuff gets elevated because all of the writing is better. You're like, so he has to be a guy at least who is having people work with him who want to do this kind of thing.
Sure.
There are people undoubtedly writing for NXT who wish they were writing for The Sopranos.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So they get the chance to like write that kind of stuff when they're working with Tony D. But I don't think they give any of this room to breathe on the main roster. They'd make it into something terrible. So I would rather him just be repackaged as a really great suplex artist. But you can't. I remember just be that, but you can be that as part of a tag team. You can't just be that as a singles guy.
When the call-up discussion for Tony D came around last time, I remember they were also saying there's just like a discrepancy in the maturity, meaning from a wrestling maturity standpoint, not an attitude maturity standpoint, between him and the rest of the act. Like there just was. And I think maybe they're like, we can't keep him here anymore because maybe the rest of the act isn't ready. So I also understand that aspect of it too. But him as a hot tag guy is a great call. That would be very fun. That would be very
says,
fun.
This starting to be a suplex machine. What if instead of being in Seth's stable, Gable brings him up to join his stable? No, I don't want him anywhere near whatever the hell Chad Gable's got going on.
No.
If Chad Gable was doing the thing that I booked him to do, which is to be a version of heel Kurt Angle, and then you have the Creeds as Team America, and you just add Tony D to that, absolutely. But I don't want Tony D anywhere near a Grande Americano. That's terrible stuff.
Like, that's the thing is it started so cartoonish, but then he just was a mobster. So it's not like he was making fun of Italian whatever.
Yeah.
Like, no, I would love like a Chad Gable Tony D tag team. That would be super fun, but not
honestly
this.
Don't hate this at all, considering who Karrion Kross is right now. Like if you
could be fun as hell.
Because he's got nobody else around, and I think the two of them could be a really good team, and it'd be kind of fun to see them like play off each other as characters, because Karrion Kross obviously has a lot of ideas. And like
Alex,
Tony D could play a character in those ideas really well.
that makes me do this. That's a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for just the right chat to do that dramatically with my sunglasses, and my God, if that wasn't it.
Jambeard says, just after I sent that chat about Tony joining Gable's group, I just had a bad Darkest Timeline feeling. Gable has to have Tony be the guy under Americano's mask so that Gable can prove it's not him. Man, I don't think you realize how much thicker Tony D is than Chad Gable. I don't think that Tony D is doing reverse 450 centons. That's
Alex,
what Tony D can't do those.
Way bigger issue here. Okay. Yeah. Jam Beard is a loyal supporter of this show and of the Sour Grape Society in general. All the time coming out here, showing up. It was a $10 chat that you just sent in. Very generous. Have you not learned anything in the past 24 hours about speaking bad ideas into existence? Alex spoke into existence Gunther versus Pat McAfee, and that is the end of my days.
Yeah, no, I know. It's the end of you. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Don't chat bad ideas like that into existence, Jam Beard, or I will not be jamming along with your beard anymore.
Your beard, yeah. Okay. You can stay down there, Kate, because
we
have to talk about the next thing. I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna put my sunglasses on even just for this part of the bit.
I understand. I get it. Jambeard says that technically Metaphor didn't break up; they separated.
I don't care.
They amicably went their separate ways. One day, love will find them. Break those chains that bind them. They went their separate ways.
I don't care if it was a Gwyneth Paltrow conscious uncoupling.
Okay.
Wasn't that her who said that about her and the Coldplay dude?
Yeah. Yes, it was about her and the Coldplay dude.
Chris something? What's his name?
His name is Chris something. I don't know his last name either. I'm laughing because that's probably how I would describe him, is that Coldplay dude. And you also said it the same way. We are basically brother and sister.
If he's Chris something, he's probably related to Jake something, which is great.
Which is great.
Chris Martin. Thank you, Martin Rehill. Oh my gosh. Martin Rehill with the Chris Martin connection. This is the darkest of days, Alex.
I know.
The metaphor is over.
I know.
For those of you who might have started watching this show while Noam Dar has been out for the past 10 months, let me explain.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not familiar with the metaphor, let me explain.
Yeah.
They were perfect. They were the definition of the sum of the whole being greater than the parts. Because Oramensa isn't evolved because he needs room to develop, and that's great. And Lash Legend, I don't know how many times we could say it, like most improved wrestler maybe in all of wrestling for the stretch that she improved in like the year, 18 months or whatever. And the fashion and the promos from Noam Dar, they were in the little Falcon's Nest gimmick, just looking great all the time. They had like the safari gear, the one time, like they had the cool entrance, and for weeks, months, maybe, probably months.
Yeah.
I was applying to be the Meta Fifth. I never got accepted, but I had the dream. No. I had the dream there, Alex. And then when people got injured or didn't seem to be on television, I was like, well, this is perfect. I'm right here. You can call me in at any time. I will wear the outfits. I will pick a cool color for my entrance. I can't wrestle worth a damn.
Right.
But the dream was alive at that point, Alex. And
at that point it was, sure.
Now they've amicably agreed to go separate ways. I didn't say that was okay. At no point did I say this is fine. You can break up the metaphor. My emotional, the bonding glue that holds me together was ripped away from me by this Noam Dar injury. I've been a wreck. Personally, professionally, every aspect of my life since Noam Dar got injured. And then he comes back and I was like, oh my God, there's hope. And then today they just amicably decided to rip that hope away from me. Who is it amicable for, Alex?
Well, it's not for
Not
you,
me.
that's for sure. No, not for you.
Not me.
No, not you.
Devastated. And even more so, it's probably the right creative decision, but still.
Well, let's talk about that part. Because is it though? Or like hey, now we're all back together, says Noam Dar. Okay, they all come together, big hug, congratulations, winning the cup back. Hey, we're all back together now. Now it's when we're all back together, and then Lash's like, we gotta talk. A lot has happened since you've been gone, and the first thing she says is, Oro's been killing it on Evolve. Has he? I wouldn't know. Because I, like everybody else, don't watch that show. You know what I mean? Like that.
So why are you calling Lash Legend a liar?
I'm so
Make
sorry.
her a word.
I'm not. I'm saying he may be, but I think everybody who is being honest would say that being on that show and not NXT is a demotion. Because because that NXT is the bigger of the two shows by far. So he got demoted to Evolve. I don't think it's correct that he did. I mean, I guess is he? Does Evolve have a championship to kill it for?
I think over Mania weekend that was the thing, right? They have
a championship that if you're killing it, you could actually measure how much you are killing it by whether or not you are a champion.
I have well, let's go through the rest of it.
All I'm saying is, I think Oro Mensah being on TV in NXT and wrestling some matches in front of 675,000 people on network television, I think he would say that was more killing it than whatever he's doing in Evolve. Okay, so then she brings up how she and Jakara went to Saudi Arabia and were on like the PLE over there and had like a tag team title match and had several tag team title matches and were doing great stuff. And Lash was having really standout matches in singles action. And so like we maybe, and it's just, I think Ora, it's time for him to continue killing it on Evolve. And Jakara, Miss Jakara, you've got to go out and do your own thing. And I've got to do my own thing. And I was like, wait a minute, why are we breaking up that tag team? Why that tag team's great? Like, I don't know why
belts around for
and
it.
I said to myself, oh, because the tag team titles, the one set of tag team titles they have, matters so little that one half of them can go off and shoot a movie that we're all going to be so surprised by the role that she's playing in it. Because that's everything that everybody tells me about today. So it's a huge thing for her to do it, which I'm not saying she can't do it. I'm saying don't put the one set of women's tag titles you have on the shelf while she is doing it. I don't think that's a controversial thing to say. How could I say something so controversial yet so brave? But please don't do that with the women's set of women's tag titles you have. So Lash Legend apparently broke up her and Jakara. The one thing I would say that the one thing that would save all of this for me is if they are doing the thing that I want them to do, but they say that we're only need one of you to do it. Lash shows up on SmackDown as Naomi's muscle.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the one, because I am going to the main roster. Jakara is going to try and figure out a singles run here in NXT. And I have no problem with Jakara seeing if she can be the next Carmen Petrovic. She's really
charismatic as hell.
Charismatic as hell. Can we see if she can hang, if she can be the next person who moves up into the Jada Parker tier? I have no reason to doubt that Jakara Jackson may have what it takes to go from part of a tag team to passing, like, is she the Carmen Petrovic, Kalani Jordynne, Sol Ruka level of women? Is that where she is? If she is, that's great. But if they want to say, let's see if you have that in NXT while Lash Legend goes up and becomes Naomi's muscle, then I'm okay with it. But it just feels like they could have come to this in a way that made a little bit more sense than Lash breaking up with Jakara in front of us with no warning. But the biggest thing about all of this is after everybody leaves, Noam Dar calls the Heritage Cup Sangha. And I was like, is that what happened to that guy? They turned him into a cup? I thought he got released.
Penn and Teller were around. I mean,
yeah, maybe. I don't know.
So that part does concern me. Here, we talked about this last night, so sorry for people that watch both shows. But like the more I thought about it, the more frustrated I got, because yesterday in the same segment, substitute teacher,
almost in the same sentence,
pretty much the same breath. Yeah. Substitute teacher Nick Aldis, who's filling in for Adam Pearce and doing a better job than Adam Pearce, says to Dominic Mysterio, IC title holder, your workload doubles when you're a champion, because Liv Morgan said, I'm gonna F off and do this movie in her like deliciously heelish way.
Yes.
And Dom says, I'm gonna join her. And Adam Pearce says, or I'm sorry, Nick Aldis says, no, your workload doubles as champion. You should have paid attention to your father more. And Liv Morgan, also a champion, is not held to not only not the same standard, not a standard for defending the titles. And we've said it a couple times on the show, and I know it's reiterated, but it bears repeating. And like, I hope that Shawn Michaels maybe has like an actual conversation about what this is, because the fact that they absorbed those tag titles for absolutely no reason to the main roster is one of the like most nonsensical title absorptions that I've seen in a world where WWE, AEW, certainly New Japan also have too many titles and they need to be merging more. Taking one away from the NXT women's division ain't the freaking call, man. Absolutely not. You cannot go out there and say we have the best women's roster in the world and have a leg to stand on, by the way, with that statement. And then for no reason, take those titles and merge them with the main roster if the people from the main roster aren't regularly going to come to NXT and defend them. I'm pretty sure Chelsea Green was around more than the women's tag titles were, because this is at least the deepest roster until I guess Triple H is just gutting it. But like, that needs to be an actual conversation about splitting them up again, because that to me is why it felt like they did this. Certainly Lash might get called up to be Naomi's heavy, do other stuff on the main roster, whatever. She's a megastar in a lot of ways, and she can do stuff that a lot of other women can't do. I can't say no other women can do, because there's like Jordynne Grace and Jade and Rhea now. Like there's some.
She would add a lot to Naomi. Especially if Naomi's gonna be feuding with Jade and Nia Jax, having Lash around really helps out Naomi. So I think that would honestly be a really good. That would be a really good use of breaking up a tag team, particularly if you can actually get Jakara some reps as a singles wrestler in NXT. That would be good for her too. My issue is that you just had the tag champions have a match against an NXT tag team last week, that if you knew ahead of time, and I hope Liv didn't spring it on you after last Tuesday, that Liv was going to be gone to film a movie, you just make the creative decision to have Gigi and Tatum beat them for the tag belts. It'd be a huge feel-good moment for both of those women who definitely deserve it, let's be honest. And if you want to transfer those titles to somebody else in the absence, fine, and then you can have Liv and Raquel win it back when Liv comes back. That's fine, but don't just shelve them. Don't shelve the titles. Come on.
And on top of that, like, we mentioned this too, but now it feels like this whole problem is compounded. You had like a 4-way on the pre-show of Stand and Deliver for a title shot, and the week before there was a gauntlet match with teams that weren't featured on television or never fought together. And the NXT women's division has more tag teams than the main roster, and they don't have belts. No. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So, I just think that like one of the strongest points of NXT has been the talent of this women's roster and the depth of it and the differences in presentation within it. And they deserve the tag belts to showcase that. That's all.
They do.
That's all.
They absolutely do.
I'm actually pretty interested to see what Jakara's singles run looks like, because she's been doing some really cool acrobatic stuff, and she's very charismatic. So I'm intrigued to see that. Or Mensa, I do feel kind of bad for. If it's a thing where you have to go back to go forward, I think that's good, because I don't think he got a lot out of rolling Ethan Page up outside of matches. But I just hope he goes back to go forward. Like, I hope that he's not forgotten about in all of this stuff. And Noam Dar is Noam Dar. He doesn't like he doesn't need a faction. He's just a damn good person to carry one. Just a damn good person.
It would. I think that was a very mutually beneficial faction on television for everybody who was involved. I need to know why he imprisoned Sangha in the Heritage Cup. Is Noam Dar a warlock? What is going on with any of that? But that
I'd believe it.
So yeah, now we get to see what they do with Noam Dar back in the Heritage Cup as being an active thing again, because it didn't feel very active as part of the Lexis King run.
Well, Alex, you know what?
What? Tell me what.
There's a lot of reasons someone might not be very active. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
and sometimes they need to get a little creative. Mm-hmm. But we've got solutions for you over here, good. Okay? Yeah. Well, our partners at Blue Chew do.
Okay. Blue Chew, main event performance, main event confidence, and a main event deal. Go to BlueChew.com and use the code FIGHTFUL, and you will get Blue Chew with their first shipment for free. Shipment? Yeah, I said shipment. No waiting in line at the pharmacy, no awkward doctor's visits. You take their online exam, and then if approved, it's shipped straight to your door. That's right. Same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in a chewable form and much more affordable. How can you pass up on this? How can you pass up on that confidence? How can you pass up on that performance? How can you pass up on making your sex life better? That's what Blue Chew is here to do. You don't have to have a problem to use Blue Chew. Just get that additional performance. BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL.
BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL. No, I'm not doing my invoice right now. Why would you say that?
Kate.
Alex.
Is Oro Mensa really killing it on Evolve?
I have no idea. I don't
know either. But we're going to find out who's killing it on Evolve, because I don't know. I'm not sure how big is the roster on Evolve. Is it a quarter of the roster, a third of the roster, half the roster is going to be in a 25-man battle royal next week? Trick Williams came out, cut a promo about how Joe Hendry's not coming out, saying his name over and over again. He's not appearing because he got laid out by DarkState. You suck. I also laid you out after you won the title match, but I don't care about any of that. I didn't come to take your title. He has no interest in the TNA world title because all he wants is his shot at Obafemi. And he's going to get it, blah, blah, blah. And then Ava came out, and Ava does not like Trick Williams. And she says, you can have your shot if you earn it next week in a 25-man battle royal.
He only gets one shot.
I wish that I had saved the picture of the field of the battle royal and could upload it here, because I legitimately recognize maybe half of the faces in the 25 men, and the rest of them are from Evolve.
I actually didn't see. I didn't see the field. So
if you look at the field, no, I won't say that. A quarter of them I don't know, because a bunch of people who are in Evolve I do know. But Timothy Thatcher,
Jack Cartwheel and stuff like that.
Timothy Thatcher is going to be in the Battle Royal next week. Timothy Thatcher, the most British man to ever be born in Sacramento, California, is going to be.
He was born in Essex, man. There's just no way.
He was somehow yeah. Anyway, he's going to be in
He's
it,
British.
and a bunch of guys. But the way that they laid it out, Ethan Page is front and center, and you can see Javon's in there. Trick Williams is all the way off to the side. Javon's in there. Some other top. Sean Spears is going to be in it. Wes Lee, you can see them all in there. I think Lexis King is in there. Swipe Right, both of the Swipe Right. Both the Swipe Right guys are going to be in it. Whatever his name and Ricky Smokes. But they're both going to be in it. They're Evolve guys, and then a bunch of other Evolve guys. There's one dude. He's if you look at it, the most prominent guy, front and center, bottom row, is Ethan Page, and to his left, your right, as you look at it, is a guy I've never seen before. I had to zoom in on it to make sure it wasn't Matt Cardona. I thought it was maybe Matt, but it's not Matt Cardona. I don't know who it is. They're all these people, just a bunch of people. This is for a shot at Obafemi's NXT title at the PLE, at Battleground, the one you're running opposite Double or Nothing. And I know you're trying to screw with Double or Nothing's money. That's what you're trying to do. And the idea that maybe this one half of a tag team from Evolve will be a way to sell tickets to this big show we're doing, it's just insulting to us. This should be, if you're gonna do some kind of match to do it, it should be the top guys you got on your roster, not just these randos from Evolve. Again, a thing that a lot of people don't watch because they don't know how to get Tubi.
So, I mean, they should. It's free, and you don't even have to have a login, right?
I don't know. It's true.
So here's the thing. I do actually know how many people tuned in for, because somebody posted it. Their first episode did 300,000 people, and now it's about 100,000 people. I have kind of mixed feelings on this, because the men's singles division isn't the strongest, but there's enough people that you should be featuring pretty much all of them in a 25-man battle royal. I do think there are some. I saw someone be like, "Is Evolve low key better than NXT?" And I was like, "Well, they all have wrestling experience. So if what you are drawn to is seeing Jack Cartwheel do stuff you've never seen in the ring before, then in that case, yes. So if they pick the correct guys, I'm not mad about it.
So there's gonna be two surprises.
So there'll be two surprises. They'll be from TNA.
Hendry will be in it to eliminate Trick Williams.
And
not what should happen. Trick Williams should win the Battle Royal to get his one-on-one shot with Obafemi, because that's how you sell the most tickets, and also that's how the feud ends. That's my problem with this whole thing with Trick involving himself with Joe Hendry. Is a very good problem. They just put off the Trick Williams and Obafemi stuff to do Trick Williams and Joe Hendry stuff.
I wonder, this all feels so main roster tinkered with, because Trick's name has been thrown around for a call up, and I'm like, are they waiting
Alex,
to have
hold up before we move on? The guy Alex is talking about is Gal Barkay. He goes by It's Gal. I legitimately do not know if you are fucking with me.
I'm Googling it. No, that's a full on. I could see why you would be like, was that Matt Cardona but shaves? Yeah, no, that's a dude.
Okay. So is he prominent in Evolve? If you look at the graphic, he is very prominent.
Keep asking me questions like I know what's going on in Evolve.
I understand. I just don't understand. I don't understand.
Well, no, you want to showcase people from Evolve in a battle royal. That's fine. That's but people in Royal Rumble who aren't going to win, but you get to see them show out. That's fine. It's just got to be the right people. I don't think taking two halves of a tag team and putting them in there, impressive as they are in the ring, is the right use of that, right? That's kind of my thing about it.
Yeah, sure.
If one guy from Swipe Right is in there and Eddie Thorpe is not, that's bad. You know what I mean?
He's had one or two matches in Evolve, and he honestly, it looks like he's the star of the Battle Royal if you look at the damn graphic. It's so weird.
I don't know, man. Battle royals are mostly stupid, so.
Okay. Sean Legacy.
Like fun, stupid.
Sean Legacy. That's not Gal. That's Sean Legacy. Man, this none of this makes me happy. So Trick Williams should win the Battle Royal, and then he should face Oba 1-on-1, and Oba should beat him, and then we put that all behind us. And if you have no plans for Trick Williams on the main roster after that, let him go over there and run a feud with Joe Hendry. I have no problem. I have no problem with Trick Williams being the first ever NXT talent to hold the TNA World Title. And then you could have Joe Hendry get it back from him or whatever. I don't mind that at all.
Yeah.
You know what you could friggin' do would be great? Trick Williams wins that title and runs a program with Mustafa Ali, who beats him for it. Mustafa Ali beats an NXT guy for that title. Huh? Just get just for me. Do it for me. Just for me. Please? Okay.
I'm good with not that. There are 5 Evolve talent in the Battle Royal.
Okay, fine.
That's not the end of the world. 2 of them being a tag team I don't like. Like, that's just a waste.
Yeah.
But they're very impressive.
They are very impressive, but neither of them should be getting a shot at Oba's world title in NXT. It just
no, and they won't, but like that's pretty standard from Battle Royal. I mean, Sean Ross Sapp has been in them, and you want to talk about a guy that's never winning a Battle Royal. Like
that is true. That guy is never winning a Battle Royal. Let me tell you what. So
Gal Barclay not in this. Sean Legacy, yes.
Okay, then again, I say somebody, who is this? And they say that's Gal, and they're like, okay, and other people are corroborating it. Yes, that's and it's not him. That tells you how
I'll tell you what, we have a bunch of bullshitters in the chat tonight that are not the Evolve connoisseurs they purport to be.
Yeah. So
anyway. He looks like if you took Alex Hammerstone and just like narrowed him in a little bit.
Yes.
I'm interviewing Alex Hammerstone on Thursday.
You always pick the most jump scare times to come on this show for me. I'm always looking up something else. Hi, Sean. Sean in the dark.
I listen, not to promote another show on your airways, but as things stand, I have a very relevant guest lined up for In the Weeds tomorrow.
Ooh.
Quite literally whenever I wake up and make it happen. But I'm very excited for it. It's an interview that a lot of people have looked to lock down, but by God, here we are. Alex, you know what I discovered? Do you remember my old producer, Nigel? You were around.
Oh, yes, I remember Nigel. Sure.
He currently runs a YouTube channel with 436,000 followers on it.
Wow.
Called Crime Zone. That I was just scanning true crime stuff tonight as I worked, and I was like, that looks an awful lot like my old producer. And it was.
There you go.
Go figure.
Craziness.
Go figure.
Your time is great. We were definitely not just talking about your record in Battle Royals. So that's not what we were doing at all. Nope. Not on this show.
What? Why? You stalking my Instagram?
No.
While you're on the air? Because I just posted pictures from a year ago this week.
No, there's a Battle Royal for Obafemi contendership.
Yeah, well, he better be glad I'm not in it.
Some Evolve talent, and that brought up because some other people that have been in Battle Royals.
Let me just tell you, I ordered 3 bags of grass seed today, so I know how to maintain a yard.
You ordered 3 bags of grass seed?
3 bags of grass seed.
How big is your yard?
Not big, but like it gets some shady patches where it gets a little bit difficult. I moved my grill, so there was a little bit of a dirt spot there that I'm looking to patch out. So
fair.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
am I on the Evolve beat? I would rather mow my lawn with my eyeballs. I would rather drag my balls across a cactus than cover that. I used to have I had a cactus when I bought this house. So it was this little patch. It was like yay big, right? When I bought it. And I go, oh, that's charming. We'll keep it. No, they clearly had just planted it as like, oh, cool, a cactus, because that shit grew so quick and so like expansive. It was ridiculous. I had to dig it up and put it in a tarp. It looked like I was dragging a body out of my yard. It was insane. Because like you can't put it in the trash.
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't know how you would dispose of a cactus. What kind of grass you talking?
It was Kentucky bluegrass. It
Kentucky
is
bluegrass,
legitimately.
okay.
We have phenomenal grass, like really, really good springy grass.
Brag about it.
It is. It's fantastic. It's fantastic grass. Sabrina, I have done that. I have put some hay on my lawn. I've done that as well.
Nice.
Hay is like a commodity here, though. Like they like this is the country. They sell hay. You can't just go out and find some loose hay.
No,
out here.
No, it's
hot commodity.
That is the name of a tag team that wrestled on the same show as me in Black Label Pro.
Oh my goodness.
Trevor Outlaw and Hayden Backlund.
I like Trevor Outlaw quite a bit. Sean, when are you going to interview Miss Nikki?
Probably when she gets relevant without me.
Sean.
Somewhere around then.
Talking that ass. How was
TBD on that one?
How was Squared Circle Expo?
It was great. Got 10 interviews. I'll go ahead since you all are here. I'll tell you all the interviews that I got. I got Matt Cardona, Brittany Brooks, who I expect to be signed, if not by the end of this year, within a year. Big Trouble Ben Bishop, who, same vein, expect him to be signed by next year.
Him and his little videos.
They're great. We talked about him. Zoe Lucas, who just returned to wrestling, did some CMLL. Missa Kate, who has been in TNA, NWA, ROH, and a lot of stuff there. Hollywood Haley J, a fellow Kentuckian. She was on Netflix's The Wrestlers. Deanna Perrazzo, you all might know her a little bit. We had, who else? Oh, Kenzie Page, who got into it with Natalia and is going to face her at NWA. Had that one. And then, I feel like Shaza, of course. And then Matt Cardona. Yeah. I don't know if I mentioned him, but Prince Nana is the one that I didn't mention. Prince Nana. And Sergeant Slaughter did a run-in during that.
During the Prince Nana one?
Yeah, it was wild. It was like incredibly appropriate product placement. He brought a coffee mug.
Wow.
While he was plugging his coffee, I was like, my God.
Well played.
Yeah.
We opened up the forbidden door. He's under WWE contract right now.
Oh my gosh. Look at you.
It's incredible. Like, what other channels are just getting G.I. Joes rolling into their show? Now, granted, did he think that Prince Nana was Cobra Commander? Probably. He's old.
Probably, yeah.
Still, it was very cool.
Yeah.
It was very cool. Were you in the Cobra Clutch? I used to do from a crossface, crippler crossface position, a Cobra Clutch like that back in the day. But I'll let you all go review this show that I'm sure was great.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. An SRS run-in for all y'all. He didn't even plug FightfulSelect.com.
No, he wouldn't.
$5.99 in the biz.
Yeah, and I mean, nobody accused me of sending my invoice to Sean while he was on the air with us. That would have been silly.
No.
So
that's ridiculous. I definitely didn't do it during the ad break.
That is a scurrilous accusation, and I will thank you. You will be hearing from my attorneys. So,
mine was Luca Crucifino, so unfortunately.
Oba was interviewed and says the cries of Trick Williams are beginning to sound like an overgrown child. He's so great. I just love him so much.
He rules.
But you know what I didn't love? The Undertaker coming in and being like, hey, you're the top guy here, but you're not going to be the top guy for long because I brought these 3 charisma vacuums who are standing behind you. And I'm like, what are you? Who are these kids from LFG? Like, I mean, okay, so what? Like, they're very big. They're Obafemi sized. All 3 of them are Obafemi sized. Okay. So we'll see. I guess we'll see. Like, like one thing that's never going to happen is me watch a second of that show to determine whether or not they are good. So I guess.
What if Obafemi shows up on it?
Yeah.
Then you're gonna have to watch.
Yeah. They're in the Battle Royal, so they're not actually Evolve talent. They are LFG talent in the Battle Royal. All right.
I just assumed everybody that I didn't recognize was out of office.
Yeah, I don't know. One guy wore a very thick chain around his neck.
It's true.
Like as like a scarf. As like think about it as like MJF's Burberry scarf, but a big thick chain. He was very intimidating.
I would never wear things that seem out of place for what they were originally intended to
neither
be.
You or I would wear weird things on the air.
Certainly not.
That is not a thing that either of us would ever or could ever do.
No. Obviously. We're very serious. We've been over this. This is
We are the most serious.
So
they are.
You could call us serious.
Shiloh Hill, Jasper Troy, and Chris Island. And again, I legitimately do not know if you are fucking with me. What I do know is that Booker T did not know any of their names either, and was like, "Hey, that was," and Gloria Graves is like, "This guy? You mean this guy? Yeah. Sorry, I got choked up. You didn't get choked up. You misplaced your note card with those guys' names on it, Booker."
Alex, we got a humper chat that is from a couple segments ago, but I wanted to bring it up.
Please do.
Feeling Dreepy said, just had a thought. If Metaphor no longer exists, who will be Noam's second for his Heritage Cup defenses? Also, he named it Sanga. Now, here's the thing. I will be his second. I'm starting to feel better. The grieving process is working. I'm healing. I will just be Noam Dar's second. But maybe it's Veer. Maybe Sanga turned into the Heritage Cup, but maybe Veer is coming. And so Noam Dar's next defense is going to be in 8 months from now.
Great. Love it.
Nailed it.
Shock of Ages says, the speed at which Alex pulled out those bunny ears is both mildly concerning and intensely hilarious. I love sour graps. Well, the thing that's concerning is that my desk is an absolute trash pile. And those ears I wore on the Easter night episode of Sour Graps when we did a review of WrestleMania Night 2, because it was Easter, and I don't know, do you not wear bunny ears on Easter? What are you, like a heathen? So no, I wore my bunny ears on Easter as per usual, and I just haven't put them back in the Easter decorations box. So
there you go.
So hey, we got Hank and Tank versus Briggs and Inamura, and I loved every second of this match until the weird wonky ass finish.
Yeah, that was a bummer.
Why did you make Inamura look like a moron in this last match?
It was
before
so
he goes,
good.
Man, it was such a great match. It was such a great match. Like, Hank and Tank really have come so far, but Briggs and Inamura really have something. I'll be sad if we don't get to ever see them wrestle together again, because I really like their style. I love like the thing of like, before you do your giant, huge splash that you do, I'm going to hit this dude with a clothesline from hell to make sure he stays down for your big splash. I loved that. I loved Hank barely making the save at that moment. Some really good stuff. I don't even mind the honk honk. Normally, I would hate the honk honk as being a thing that they just say honk honk whenever they're walking around. I'd rather they just do honk honk before they did their move, and that's it. Listen, them saying honk honk to each other before they do a big belly bump on a guy in the middle of the ring, that is definitely less strange than Lola Vice yelling, "I am a Latina," before she puts her butt in somebody's face. But I don't know why everybody's got to yell something before they run and do something in NXT. Why is that a thing across the board? But anyway, I really like Hank and Tank, and I liked this match a lot with Briggs and Inamura, but the fact that it ended because Inamura picked up Hank and then like swung him around so his legs hit Briggs in the face in a way that seemed very unnatural for him to do it. Like he just forgot that's where his tag partner was standing when he should. It wasn't like Hank forced him to do it. He legitimately just was wheeling the dude around on his shoulders and smacked his partner in the face, and that's why they lost. And I was like, you couldn't figure out a way for them just to lose without it being like Inamura goes back to Japan because he ain't ready yet because he hit his partner in the face. That's what it looks like. That's the implication that he's got to leave because he's just not good enough because he hit his tag partner in the face with his opponent's feet.
They work really well together. Like I'm having, this is some fun stuff. Like this is some tag team wrestling. Like this has been really, really fun. All of their tandem offense, or so many times people will say tandem offense and it just means you're doing moves sequentially, but their tandem offense is 2 moves that double the impact of something. So that was a great example that you gave, like having that clothesline before the move, like that. There are things that the way that they go about it makes it feel like they are just instinctually on the same page. And I love that type of tag team wrestling because it feels like that's why they work together as a duo. And it doesn't just feel like you did something and then I did something, and it really feels like they're putting a magnifying glass on the impact of the sequences that they're doing. So yeah. I've really enjoyed a lot of this. That was a very weird ending, and I wish it didn't end on that note. So we'll see. But I've had fun watching Inamura. I was charmed last week by his sneaky way of getting a title shot, and Hank and Tank really, really have come a long way. Like it's really cool to see that growth in such a short period of time, especially because so much of it feels like it reads on screen as, this isn't how progress works, but like it reads on screen as we're going to push these guys, and they like cranked it up during that push because it was so much a part of the story of their like self-discovery. So it feels like part of the story was watching them progress, and then it feels like that just was mirrored in real life. So it's been awesome to see that. As far as the honk goes, I don't mind it because I am, if nothing, a silly goose. So honk away.
Correct. Yeah. Happy birthday to Ryan Ben 666. My thanks to the SGS Fightful family for getting me near another 365. This is my therapy, my smile, and my relief. Here's to another crazy year. We love you, Orion Ben. Been here since almost definitely the beginning. This is one of our absolute OGs, Orion Ben. Always here in the chat, always making good comments. So happy birthday to Orion Ben.
Happy birthday, man. I love it when we get to like have birthdays with people. Thank you for always being so wonderful and supportive in our chat. And I hope all those things that you said are so flattering. And I hope that you know that like when people like you are in the chat to go out of their way to support us, it does that for us too. Like at least for me, I feel like I can confidently speak on your behalf with that. But like it's because of you guys that this becomes those things for us as well. So happy birthday. Thank you for your consistent support, and I hope you have just the best year ahead.
No Quarter Catch crew is backstage, and they're talking to Miles like, hey, Charlie's pissed at you for teaming with Javon last week. what I just, oh man. Hey, Tavion, we're going to be in the Battle Royal next week, so we should win it and get a title shot, I guess. And there was this, and then Miles leaves and Tavion goes to Ren, like, something about, like, is Charlie really upset about everything? It's like, Charlie is a very complicated man. And Tavion's like, what does that mean? I don't know. Ren Sinclair is one of those people who it's really criminal how little she's used.
Yeah.
Like, she can do literally anything. You don't even have to put her in matches, although she's very good in the matches she works. But she should be doing stuff like this every week because she always makes it fun. So
she's got the Chelsea Green gene. Like that, just whatever she's in, your eyes are just on her, and she's great. Like she's just so entertaining. I would like to see her get featured more. We talked about this a few weeks ago. Like there's some people that it feels like the influx of women's talent maybe kind of we hadn't seen her on screen a ton before that, but like maybe it delayed her from getting more reps.
Sure.
So I would love to see that rectified with her in some way, because she's never really had a consistent story that's been her own.
Yeah.
It's always been like she's a character and whatever's going on with the No Court Catch crew. So I think she's just so much fun anytime she's on screen, and I hope that she gets to showcase what she can do more.
Yeah, for sure. Hank and Tank met Joe Hendry backstage, and like Tank is just he's got the Riz.
He really he does.
And
he
Hank
does
with him also contagious is the Riz when it comes from Tank to Hank. And so when they're standing there with Joe Blandry, it magnifies it. Because I'm sorry, like these guys just feel they feel like pro wrestling characters, and he just is a guy. So they offer their services to him next week to face DarkState in a six-man tag. And one of the three of them is getting pinned next week.
Yeah.
Probably not Joe Hendry, but definitely a champion is taking a pinfall next week. And I just never like that. So, that's one of my deals. But we'll see how that goes. Joe Hendry's going to have to put his working boots on for that one, because unless Cutler is in the ring as one of the three guys, all the other dudes in the other team can work. And Hank and Tank are going to pick up the pace, because those big boys like to move fast.
They do.
Joe can't get in and do what he did in his match versus Trick. Like, he can't do that. Like, they actually got to really do it, because that was not, because I believe he can do other things. I have to. Otherwise, everybody who's watched him is a liar and has said that he's good, because he was not good in that match. It was very boring. So I think that he can be better, and he's going to have to show it next week.
I kind of feel like you do, where I'm like, I don't think any of these guys should be losing. Like, I don't,
Yep.
I don't think, which is tough, because like you want to feature wrestlers on your show,
right.
And you want to make DarkState seem like a threat. So I get why they're doing it. It just kind of stinks that that's the way it goes, unless there's a DQ, which is always a possibility in WWE.
Yeah. So Kalani Jordynne wants a title shot with Soul, and I thought this was this is the way I wanted it to go.
Yeah, this was good.
This was really good, because no, she's not fighting you next week, says Zarya. No, you showed out in that ladder match. You were a fighting champion tonight. Had your match with Carmen Petrovich. You need to fight next week. You want to fight her? You got to go through me. And Kalani, to her credit, doesn't bat an eye. She says, "Okay, bet." Like, that's the way I want Kalani to be. That's the thing that works for me. But I love that there's a little bit of that between they need to do a little bit more of it. But that thing between Soul and Kalani, like, when I was the champion, I gave you a title defense, so I get one. Right? And Soul was willing to do it, even though she didn't like the tone of voice that Kalani came in there with. But Zarya stepping in the way and saying, "You don't get to face my girl until you beat me." And I like that Zarya is doing that. And the problem is that now nobody's going to get to face Sol Ruca. And if they do, then they've made a drastic error by having Zarya take a pinfall. So it's one of those things that is very interesting to me, because Kalani versus Zarya next week should absolutely end up with Zarya beating Kalani Jordynne, but then there's nobody for Sol to face at Battleground.
Right.
So I don't want to see Zarya lose. But Kalani winning is the actual correct play. It just they have to do it in a very specific way that I'm not even sure I could even know how to book to make Zarya lose and make it work. Like, you know what I mean?
What I'm nervous about is that they already start the miscommunication with Zarya and Soul, where like Soul tries to help Zarya, and then that ends up distracting her, and Kalani wins because they love to run angles like that.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I think if Kalani just won cleverly, or in a clever way, because I don't know if that's a word. I think it would go a long way, because even though Zarya hasn't like squashed a bunch of people and picked up wins, like if you've seen her, you know she's a threat. So I think it would actually do a lot for Kalani too if she just won, but won smart, won cagey. And then Zarya can be all pissed off because she's like, somebody just like beat me like that, and my friend has the title. That's not the order of things. So
yeah, we'll see. I mean, yeah, you're kicking too much ass, DQ. That one they might do that. I don't know.
I'm back down here just for the possibility of that being a thing.
Kalani Jordynne did lose a match that she won, so maybe she's gonna win a match that she loses. God.
NXT has been so much better than it was, but then you remind me of things like that, and I'm like, but they're still stupid shit.
Yeah, Kalani lost a match that she won, and maybe this time that she gets the hell beat out of her by Zarya, and then she just gets awarded the match.
Yeah, that could be.
They could absolutely do
Why
that.
am I in Fraxium? Why am I blurry?
I don't know why you're blurry. Sorry.
Blurry girls. There we go. I'm back.
Kate.
Alex.
It's possible. It's possible, though it's a small, scant possibility. It's possible we'll look back on this in a month and be like, okay, they salvaged it. Man. I don't know. I don't feel like I trust these people to do it. Like
Alex, I would not put my money on BetOnline AG that they would do that.
No, don't do that.
They're not even an ad read.
No, I don't even know if you could get a line for such a thing. I mean, can you even bet on wrestling?
I mean, you actually can, but they're not we don't have to play their thing tonight.
Oh.
I was just saying.
Well, what
That's a free one for you.
What do we have to play?
Well, we played Blue Chew before.
Oh.
I mean, we can.
Like, do we not have a second one?
We don't have a second one, but we can have a second one if you want. Because now I feel like we're too far in with BetOnline AG. But you don't need to get too far in with BetOnline AG financially, but you can bet on wrestling and win a couple of bucks. And you can subscribe to Fightful Select, and you can get underdog lock picks. So if we're going to tell you all that, might as well just play that.
I want to talk to you guys about our great partner at BetOnline AG. Yes, the place that lets you bet on pro wrestling. We've gotten our pro wrestling betting odds from them for years, well before we even worked with them. And we're going to tell you a little bit more about them. They got the earliest lines, the fastest payout, the industry best bonuses. They've been trusted for 25 plus years because of their safe and secure environment and their quick payouts. But you can bet on pro wrestling. How cool is that? If you think you know more than anybody, go ahead and look at those odds. It's the same ones you've seen on Fightful for years. You might see one that sticks out to you and you go, wait a second, there's no way that person's going to win. Why are they an underdog? Make yourself some money. BetOnline AG. And hey, it doesn't stop there. Whatever sports you want, they got you covered. Popular games like blackjack and roulette, Supernova, Skyward, all that stuff. BetOnline AG. Please bet responsibly and only bet what you can at BetOnline AG.
Sometimes you just got to call an audible.
You do. Speaking of which, I think Luis was trying to save me from myself, because when he was doing the live results for Fightful, he left out a segment, and I was just going to skip over it and not have my blood vessels were not going to burst from rage.
I know what it is.
So Luis, thank you for saving me from myself, but I would not be doing my job if I did not have a conniption fit. He decided he started to restart the university last week, and already he's got a classroom full of students. That's very quick. That's not how it works. That's bad and terrible. And we're right back to the beginning of things where he's saying F you to people for asking questions. Also, the two Chase U simps show up to class 15 minutes later, and the professor is on their side. This is horrible and terrible. I want to set fire to the earth. I am so angry about. We finally got rid of this thing. That man is a Welsher. Welched on his bat with Ridge Holland. Ridge Holland, by rights, he is well within his rights, Ridge Holland, to show up at that university and have everything taken away because he lost it.
I would have, first of all, like, if you now subtract Duke Hudson from something that you were originally doing, it's worse. Second of all, the way that they could have done this that I would have liked, which I don't think they're doing, is if he was a heel and he was a scam artist.
No, but he's not.
I know. They should. He should take all their money and stop showing up to teach and be a fat cat. And all these kids are going to have to argue about it with Sally Mae and be like, I didn't actually get my education. And Sally Mae will be like, we'll get back to you. And we're going to charge you a bunch of interest for the rest of your life.
It'd be really funny if he was running like a Trump U. Like
legit. It would be great. And he could pull that off so well.
They're not doing it. They're not doing it at all. And now he gets to say F you to his students, and he's a baby face.
He is kind of very drumline like in his teaching methods.
I really hate this so much. And it's only here to annoy me because the ceiling on this is below the surface of the earth. Like, what can you do? Like, this is they're literally just doing the same friggin' shit again. Nothing has changed. You had the opportunity to do something different with this guy. Like, the original version of Chase U lasted longer than The Shield. They had their shot to do something with it, and they didn't. And they had an opportunity to move on, and they're just going to start it over again. That is objectively a terrible thing. That is objectively a terrible thing.
And they released Duke Hudson in the process. But also, when you really don't like something, it becomes very solar system based. It's a lot of like drilling into the Earth's core and a lot of launching bricks at the moon and setting the Earth on fire. It's a lot of planetary damage. Some things are just bigger than this world. But Alex, the thing with Chase U is, I don't know if you've heard, but this company not big into the pivoting. That would require pivot. They're more of a retread company.
But company told me they didn't bench people, and like Dakota Kai is like, hi, I really miss wrestling and I'm totally healthy.
And Natalia's like, I'm gonna cut all these badass promos for NWA. Yeah. And Shayna Baszler's tweeting good soldier after Paul Heyman made a joke about her having a piece. You know, it's great.
Yeah.
This company tells the truth. They're retreading, they're not pivoting. I would hope they would do something with it.
Okay, so the thing is that the Chase U Simps are a tag team managed by Andre Chase. What's the thing that they're doing?
Quite literally just doing the same thing over again.
Thank you very much. Yep, great. Okay, so I said last night, I better not see Roxanne Perez have a match tomorrow night. Guess what I saw? Like,
Alex, you're not going to believe this.
I know. So Roxanne had a fantastic match last night with Rhea Ripley.
Fantastic, great chemistry.
Fantastic
with those
match
two.
because she's really, really great. She's really, really great. She was so great in this.
Rhea Ripley, notably, not a slouch either.
Yeah. Also fantastic. Roxanne versus IYO, amazing stuff. IYO is the champion on Raw. She
Correct.
should be on Raw.
Agreed.
And if Roxanne is going to fight her, that fight should take place on Raw and only on Raw. Is Julia on the NXT roster or the Raw roster? Pick one. That's where she wrestles. That's where she appears. That's it. That's it. I'm pretty firm on this, and I have been consistently. So this whole thing, why are we going back and forth? Like, you want to call up Roxanne and have her go off after IYO with Rhea standing in the way? I have no problem in that. As a matter of fact, please do that. It would be awesome. Great. And leave NXT for Julia and Jordynne both coming after Stephanie. Why is Stephanie even on Raw last night at all? It doesn't make any sense. None of it makes any sense. Can we please just get things delineated? This is where you are here, and this is where you are. And if you're up there, that's where you stay. Why are we going back and forth? That doesn't make any sense. None of this makes any sense. Because Julia also wants to fight IYO, but then she needs to have Stephanie's title as well. Like, you have too many women for 4 of them to be taking up all the airtime on 2 shows at once. Don't do that. Bad. Stop it.
It's also like, I have a way bigger thing about it when the creative doesn't make sense. And I also have a thing about it when I see Ivy Nile have a great match with Steph Acura yesterday. And like, this all feels like a Triple H problem and not an HBK problem. So know that when I'm saying this,
yes,
it's my frustrations are more directed that way, because they introduced 2 mid-card titles, none of which were defended at WrestleMania, and neither of which have had credible contenders properly built out for them since their existence, outside of Michin, who they ran that back with like 5 times. And then you're gonna... It already messed with NXT programming because Julia and Roxanne were on the opposite sides of things, and now for no reason they are on the same side of things. And what frustrates me is when I see a creative effort being put forward by NXT to close that gap, and then the main roster just betrays it again. Right? So there's all these things that are... I'm very tired with NXT of being able to come on here the past month or so. This hasn't been like a constant problem, but the past months or so to say, these are great matches. And also, what the hell are they doing? Because how many times can we say it? Like, Roxanne was the runner-up in the Royal Rumble. She spent the most time in the Royal Rumble. It's not that she was just on the main roster. She was in contendership for the world title immediately. And she had a whole program with Bayley that got abandoned to do something bad with the women's tag team titles. And so then she just got thrown in back down here, and she's way too special of a talent to be this careless with. She just is. And it's so frustrating because, like, hell yeah, I want to see this match. This is a great match. Mm-hmm. Jordynne Grace is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Match. She should be, sorry to Zelina Vega, absolutely destroying Zelina Vega for that US title Friday. She had no business like building out this program. Makes no sense. Like, this is a poor utilization of the women's talent, not because the matches are bad. They're fantastic. Mm-hmm. And all the women involved like had something so different to bring to this. And it's so fun to watch IYO SKY wrestle literally all the time, anybody ever. A broom, whatever. Put IYO SKY in a ring, I want to see it. But I have so many complaints when there's haziness about who's on what rosters. When you're throwing champions in there, that complaint gets turned way up because it's the most important people on your program. That chat just said Roxanne is 3-13 since losing to Julia.
Since October.
That's malpractice of one of your best women's talent. And that I truly don't think is HBK.
We've established her as a top woman. Now she can lose a bunch of matches. But then you dropped her down in a place where nobody's like
pre-show of Stand and Deliver.
But the thing, and she lost to Kalani to even get into that North American women's ladder match. So she's losing to everybody, literally everybody. You decided to throw her onto an episode of SmackDown at random to lose to Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah,
she is losing to everybody. She goes from being the world champion to the Tennessee Titans, 3-13. You know what I mean? That's terrible, right? Tennessee Titans got the first pick in the draft for a goddamn reason.
Sad but true.
That's not okay. It's not okay. Don't do that. That's bad. So the problem is that that you've trained people, your audience, to have really, really short memories. Because it doesn't pay off for them to remember anything you did 6 months ago. So if they have short memories, then they don't remember Roxanne being anything but a good worker who loses every match.
Yeah.
That's terrible management of your talent. Terrible.
It's and the prized jewel of that class. But look what they did to Carmelo Hayes. It's not female specific. It just involves all your female champions now, and it's a big ol' mess. Big ol' mess. To have Roxanne and Julia just suddenly on the same side, and to her credit, they did a good promo to try and close that gap. But the
backstage thing, trying to close the gap of I admit I didn't like you when you first showed up, and you took the thing I love the most, the NXT Women's Title. But I gotta admit, being in the ring with you, and then Julia says you are a great champion. But the two of us together, unstoppable. Okay.
It's giving the end of Wicked.
Fine.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of.
I just wouldn't suddenly trust my mortal enemy with that. You know what I mean?
Iron Man and Dr. Doom didn't team up because they would be unstoppable together. They hate each other, although they're played by the same guy now, so that's weird. You know what I mean? So I don't know. This match was absolutely phenomenal. These are four
great match.
Any way you slice it, I do not think it is arguable. These are 4 of the top 10 women in the world. If they are 4 of the top 5 women in the world, I honestly would be that's a hard argument.
Yeah.
They're so friggin' good, all 4 of them. You know what I mean? So
Jordynne Grace needs to be higher in that conversation than people put her in, honestly. I think people look at Mercedes and Willow and Chris, and then WWE, they look at you know what I mean? I feel like Jordynne, and I think she's going to get there. She just came over to WWE, and people neglect TNA a little bit, despite how great the women's division is there. They just won't rank those women in those conversations. But Jordynne's she's kind of one of one. She
did one of those things where I'm going to suplex you while you suplex your friend. But they did it with I'm going to suplex you while you do a Northern Light suplex to your friend.
What the hell?
I think was a thing that was possible. You know what I mean?
The thing with Jordynne is she's she has the strength of a lot of other women that are strong wrestlers, but there's a fluidity and an explosive with her that is Jordynne Grace is all on her own. I feel powerhouses are a little bit choppier a lot of times in the way that they move around. Jordynne does it it's a freakish effortless and a smile on her face. It's nuts, man. That woman is one of one. So anyway, the match ruled. It just sucks that we're why? Yeah.
Yeah. So they the match ends because Jordynne Grace and Julia can't stop beating on each other, and they fight to the back and leave Roxanne alone. And she and IYO have a fantastic fast couple of last minute of the match. Really fast paced, reversal.
Really fun.
Really great stuff.
Fun.
And IYO basically doing a handstand out of a Pop Rocks. Are you friggin' kidding me?
Nuts. Best counter wrestler in the company,
Like
man or woman.
That counter and the counter to Bayley's Rose Plant at WrestleMania last year.
Oh my god!
We're like
her
it was
counters
a
to
magic.
the Riptide this year. Like
But
what?
She is the best counter wrestler, male or female, in the company, maybe in the world. Like she's the best. Like I can recall single like GIF short little clips of her like specifically countering moves because they're so intricate and perfectly timed.
Unique.
She's
so unique
amazing.
too.
So great. Didn't know she would ever be on NXT ever again.
Well,
You know
and
what I
why
mean?
isn't your main roster in a place where people are coming for Io just because she got out of this feud with Rhea and Bianca, and Rhea was still like kind of sniffing around or whatever, but like, man.
So
You have an IC title so that Becky and Bayley have something to fight over. Like, what are you doing with your utilization of women's talent on the main roster?
right.
Like, that title will feel important, but like both of them have accomplished the shit. You know what I mean?
Sure. And I mean, honestly, I don't begrudge Becky and Bayley a title to fight over.
Not at all.
If you have Io at the top and you have these women who are coming after her, not her coming down to NXT to settle something. That doesn't make any sense. Also, the US title needs to be off Zelina Vega immediately. She's won 5 matches in 3 years. That's
rough.
I love Zelina Vega as a person. You cannot put a title on a woman who's won 5 matches in 3 years. 4 years. 4 years.
And probably like ring time wise, probably a half hour. I'm gonna say.
Just
like
you can't
like cumulative. It's not enough seeing someone on my screen to buy them as a
not tomorrow. Next week, we're gonna get Julia versus Jordynne 1-on-1, and the winner faces Stephanie Vaquer at Battleground.
Yes.
Ryan Giacchini says that he expects Jordynne to win next week. Ryan Giacchini says, feel like plans got rushed. They wanted all the new ladies to get the belt before the call up. It's fully expect Jordynne to win. And then he expects Jordynne to beat Stephanie. And then Stephanie, Roxanne, and Julia all to get called up. And I feel like that's a really big mismanagement of talent. We have seen they do not know what to do when they have a full cupboard. Because regardless of what they say publicly, they bench a lot of people. And you can't put everybody on the show. So you have room in NXT to be doing stuff while you're teaching the rest of the girls who are up-and-comers how to get up to that point. You can stagger this. Sure. So there is a call-up every 4 months. Like if you look at the men's division back in Black and Gold, a guy won the title, defended it again, maybe defended it a third time, lost it the third time, got called up. The guy who beat him defended it maybe 3 times, lost it, got called up. And that was a really good pattern. It worked really well. You have the horses in the women's division to do that. Draw straws of who gets called up first.
Problem is, I think this is my take. I think they think that the main roster is too thin on the women's side for these mid-card titles. And
they benched Alexa Bliss.
Dude, I know.
The women's roster is not thin. It's horrible.
It's not, but they think it is. That's how it feels to me.
Then they're morons.
Well, yes.
At the
in
very
this
least,
particular way.
At the very least, they are incompetent.
Yeah.
If they've benched Alexa Bliss for no reason since the 1st of March, they're incompetent.
The biggest pop of Royal Rumble.
If they think that they don't we don't have enough women here. Well,
Alex, they didn't get Chelsea Green on the WrestleMania card. Like their utilization of, they have an incredible roster and there's some good stuff happening with some of their top talent. They are horrendous at their utilization of the rest of the card.
Friggin' Kaylee Ray as the second most important bodyguard of a girl who's not even the president of the United States anymore.
Well, she's forever my president, but yeah. We gotta get these chats done. We are way over on time.
I know, but we're not paying Luis. We don't get
I
paid
know,
extra.
but I have to work tomorrow.
Well, fine. Ryan Cicchini says, think they want Steph immediately for EO at Evolution. Who's to say they can't do EO versus Stephanie one-on-one at Evolution if both of them are the champs? That's a pretty amazing match.
I will say I don't know if they anticipated Steph connecting with the crowd to the extent that she has this quickly.
Then they didn't watch any of her matches before she got here.
Well, they barely did when they signed her.
That's true, right? So,
but I think she's connected, and I think Julie is over, and I think people like her. But Steph is white hot right now as far as like crowd reaction and stuff goes. I even see it on like the Fightful socials, man. Yeah. Like, and not just for the certain move that she does or whatever. Like, people really, really, really have gravitated to Steph, and they should. She's incredible. But like, I don't know if they thought she was going to catch that quick because she really, really has.
Ryan Shapiro says that Becky, Bayley, and Charlotte will take up the mid-card belts for Grand Slam purposes. I mean,
maybe.
I don't mind a bunch of short title reigns for make the Intercontinental and the US title like matches, like things people should want them. And they should have the top talents fighting each other for them. If you're one of the top women and you win the title and you face another top woman for that title and she beats you for it fair and square, and you had a 2-month reign and then she has a 9-week reign and then somebody else beats her for it, that's good, especially if you're doing that because you only have 5 friggin' matches on PLEs. If you're doing those on TVs, all of a sudden those matches become things people tune in for if we have established that those titles change hands on television.
I mean, Charlotte's whole career kind of was built on hot potatoing a lot with Mercedes, honestly.
Yeah.
So, because they want to get her to her dad's number, right? So that's fine.
Reverie says Jordynne Grace was 1,000 times more deserving of a TNA world title run than Joe Hendry ever was. Like, I mean, listen, they've given other women who will remain nameless on this show world title runs. They could have given Jordynne Grace one before she left, for sure.
I'm not going to say like who doesn't and does deserve it.
No, I'm not saying deserved it more than anybody else, but they absolutely could have given Jordynne Grace one before she left. Jacob Berry says again, Julia versus Jordynne Grace will be Julia's last match in NXT. That'd be a very quick turnaround. That's fine.
I've literally never properly estimated when somebody's been called up. Never have I done that. So I quit. 0 times have I been corrected about the call up.
Is there a site you can go to if you're not a bet welcher to place a bet?
Jim Beard, I'm so glad that you asked.
Because I mean, Andre Chase welches on his bets, so I think he would not be allowed to go to this website if such a website were indeed to exist.
One where you can bet on wrestling, because I'll tell you right now. I bet online AG.
Fantastic. Andrew Brown with something nice. Says Naito versus Omega G127 is free on YouTube.
Hell yeah.
That's fun. Jambeard says if all trying to come up with the worst names in wrestling, Cal Barkley, Sean Legacy, Smoke whatever his name is a very good Smoke whatever his name is came in
as Smoke whatever his name is though.
Oh my, now he's just call him Smoke him if you got him. That's what we're gonna call him. Jambeard says Kate, I'm Canadian, I thrive for the chaos because I can afford the health care to cover the therapy I may need.
Oh, stop bragging.
Yeah, please don't. Please don't. Okay, hold on. Just Ricardo says Kate showing up to fist fights in the Death Star. There we go. I think, right? Is that what you're trying to say? In the Death Star.
I think that was when I was in this mode.
Yes, there you go. Will Ocean spray cranberry juice? That's a breakfast pun. Brian the Bad Apple Juice Keith. This is a really, really good one from Alpha Bill. Like Alpha Bill. This is top tier even for you. Queen Amaletta. Queen Amaletta. Oh, that's nice. A nice Denver omeletta. Oh, that's so good. Tom LaValle says crepe Mysterio Jr.,
Very nice.
Chorizo, and granola Guerrero.
Very nice.
Authors of Pain au chocolat. That's very fancy. That's too fancy for me.
That's very fancy.
Let's see here. Penta El Huevos Rancheros from Alpha Bill.
Very good.
Okay. Lieutenant Photo says spam, sizzle up, pork out, and watch for the Here we go. Orion Ben says Rick Rudy Tooty Fresh and Fruity, and Boss Man Slam Briefest.
Well done, birthday boy.
Let's see. Corn Beast Mortos hash from Lieutenant Photo. And then Mike Shutt says Raisin Bran Strowman, Bad Applejacks Brian Keith,
Very nice.
Ego Away Heat, Quaker Otis, the Ring General Mills.
The Ring General Mills.
Okay. Is that okay? Hold on. I want to make sure.
Mike, I saw your chat earlier. We're thinking of you and your mom.
Yeah. Oh yes, and Volab says, I'm sure Metaphor will hash brown it out eventually.
I see what you did there.
And Evil Diva is a new member of the Fightful main roster.
Evil Diva.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
So no one did the one that I thought of immediately when it came up with breakfast puns. Corn Flaker.
That's very good.
Corn Flaker if you're actually on our show, but
that's true.
Okay, so we have some jukeboxes here, and
We do.
Do you have any by yourself or on the duets? I forgot this one. Jammer says TNA must be doing well from the exchange. They had a 7K sellout with half the arena being empty. Hold on now. I don't think you have any. Oh, yes, you do. You have one here. You have Killer Tofu from the Beats by the Doug Cartoon Show. You'll be second. I'm going to find mine first. So from
wait,
Louis
am I
Bill,
the Nia girl? I can only assume
you're the Nia girl to sing Killer Tofu from the Beats from the Doug Cartoon.
Barely even have to look up the lyrics, to be honest.
Okay. Braun Strowman to sing Breakfast at Tiffany's by Deep Blue Sea. Deep Blue something. Sorry, Deep Blue something. You say we got nothing in common, no common ground to start from. We're falling apart. You'll say world has come between us. Our lives have come between us. Still, I know you just don't care. And I said, what about Breakfast at Tiffany's? She said, I think I remember the film. And I said, as I recall, we both kind of liked it. And I said, well, that one thing we got. Get these 90s songs.
Tom Valley, I got your humper chase. I was confused by it, but then I saw the succession of them.
That is a one-hit wonder, man. Okay, here we go. Killer Tofu.
Fast food feels fuzzy because it tastes like stuff that's scuzzy. I used to feel like such a nerd. I refused to eat that strange bean curd. I didn't eat, but I ate you. OAO. Killer tofu. Ooh, killer tofu. I eat my sugared cereal, but it makes my teeth bacterial. Ooh. If you're feeling kind of cruddy, just stick beside your buddy and don't eat too much fried food. Ooh, killer tofu. Ooh, killer tofu. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Jim Beard wants Pop Popolowski to sing Making Bacon Pancakes from this TV show Adventure Time. Bacon pancakes! Making bacon pancakes. Take some bacon and I put it in a pancake. Bacon pancakes. That's what it's gonna make. Bacon pancake. Bacon pancakes. Making bacon pancakes. Take some bacon and I put it in a pancake. Bacon pancakes. That's what it's gonna make. You gotta get a bacon pancake. What? Thank you for that request. Regal to sing "Milky Breakfast" by Hello Cool J. Not familiar with this particular song.
Gonna want to double check that the words you're saying with that one. I think.
Okay, fine. We'll see. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Ooh, yeah. Hey, man. Ain't nothing like a nice bowl of cornflakes in the morning to smooth you out. Milky cereal, baby. Milky cereal, baby. Milky cereal, baby. Milky cereal. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the baddest female of them all? It was Frosted Flake. She loved to bowl, and although her skin was white, she had a lot of soul. Rich female, very debonair, driving a Rolls with her rollers in her hair. We was hanging out, pumping the stereo. She took me to a club. I think the name was Cheerios. She walked like she was jumping a hurdle. I was happy as a kid that just saw Mutant Ninja Turtles. I just walked over. Your earring's cute. I said, I'm wearing an earring, but it ain't no Fruit Loop. Me and Frosted went to get a drink, but she ordered something bugged. And I ain't know what to think. She ordered potassium, calcium, carbohydrate scotch with sodium. She took me to her crib, threw me on the couch. I woke up the next morning with a spoon in my mouth. War games. That's great. Okay. All right, hold on. Here we go. Here's our weekly Fraxium duet. What is this feeling from Wicked? Okay, here we go. All right, here we go. Dearest, darlingest, Mumsy and Popsicle, my dear father, there's been some confusion over Rumini Riches, but of course I'll care for Nessa, but of course I'll rise above it, but you know that's how you want me to respond, yes? You see, my Rumini is unusually and extremely peculiar, and although quite impossible to describe, bland! What is this feeling so sudden and new? I feel the moment I laid on nails. My pulse is rushing. My head is feeling. Yeah, well, my face is flushing. What is this feeling? Fervid as a flame. Does it have a name? Yes. Loathing. Unadulterated loathing. For your face, your voice, your clothing. Let's just say. Okay, that's fine. We've done that. We're going to have an Rafael Garcia wants Nya Girl and Axiom to duet Sexy Back by Justin Timberlake.
I am very aware of what part I'm supposed to be doing in this.
Okay. All right, here we go. All right, here we go.
You will be too once you pull up the lyrics.
I know. Okay, here we go.
I'm really sexy back.
Yeah.
The little bears that know how to act.
Yeah.
I think you're supposed to walk behind your back.
Yeah.
So turn around and I'll pick up the slack.
Yeah.
Take it to the bed. Dirty bed. You see the shaker, baby, on your swing. And let you whip me if that makes me high. It's just that baby make me feel this way. Take it to the car.
Thanks.
That was beautiful. I was moved emotionally.
Takes me back to house parties in grad school. Okay.
I was barely born when that song came
you
out.
were. No, why would you? Yeah. Another pun from Alpha Bill for Poker Kate. Cinnamon Toast Team 2000.
I would laugh at that, but
you can't. Yeah.
Can't read my poker face. That's what's
right. Up. Okay. Dusty to sing Big Breakfast by Tom Candy. Okay. By Tom Candy lyrics. All right, Dusty, are you there? I'm always here, baby. Let's see, a big breakfast by Tom Kent. Sunday morning, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty hungover and I'm scatting, I'm dry. I'm sitting in a bougie cafe. Why did I drop 4 cups before Mother's Day? The waitress says, "I'm Patricia. Can I get you a drink?" Hey, Patricia, can you bring me the kitchen sink, baby, so I can drown myself for all your clientele? I've done bad things to my body. Now I'm going through hell. Mom says, "Tom's such a funny boy." My sister says, "Don't you friggin' ruin Mother's Day again." I heard what they said, but I couldn't care less. I just saw this cafe does a big breakfast. Big breakfast. The biggest breakfast, baby, if you will. All right, this is it. The last show. We gotta get out of here because we are so over time.
We are so over time, but thank you for stopping by.
I'm going back to the Great Beyond.
Okay, we'll see you then.
Hello, Ricky
there's-
Rainbow to sing "Banana
there's-
Pancakes" by Jack Johnson.
There was something in the Humper chats that I think you might have missed.
Oh, well, I don't have any humper chats.
They're at the bottom of our rundown.
Oh, we have a rundown?
Yeah, we have our shared document.
I haven't been looking at it at all.
That's okay.
Because,
Tom
of
LaValle, we
course,
might have to save this for next week.
All right, I don't know that one. Sorry.
We're gonna save it for next week.
We got one more. Ricky Rainbow to
That's
sing
you.
"Banana Pancakes" by Jack Johnson. Hold on. Banana Pancakes. No, I don't want a recipe. I want lyrics.
Cavendish banana pancakes specifically.
Can't you see that it's just raining? Ain't no need to go outside, but baby, you hardly even notice when I tried to show you this song is meant to keep you from doing what you're supposed to, like waking up too early. Maybe we could sleep in. I'll make you banana pancakes. Pretend like it's the weekend now. We could pretend it all the time. Can't you see it's just raining? Ain't no need to go outside. But just maybe, like a ukulele, Mama made a baby. Really don't mind the practice, because you're my little lady. Lady, love me, because I love to lay here lazy. We could close the curtains, pretend like there's no world outside. Banana pancakes.
Delicious.
Thank you!
Thank you, Ricky, for gracing us with your presence as always.
This takes me back to the days of when Sean would be so mad at us for going so long. But now we don't have to worry, really.
It's true. It's true.
Because
Luis isn't in his bonus time.
that's right. No bonus time for you. So
There you go.
it's over.
It is. Thanks for stopping by, Ricky.
Thank you for having me. Keep cool, gabagoose.
Yeah.